It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honeybee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's easy.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is
32 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the JLP has attacked the PNP's election manifesto as AI generated, riddled with errors, and a clone of existing government programs.
It looks so much like what we've already articulated and what we are doing. So this sounds like something from AI.
But the governing party says it will not be rushed into releasing its own manifesto.
Finance Minister Favour Williams dismisses claims she's too inexperienced to stand in finance debate on her own.
Gangsters were paid $100,000 to murder policeman and his wife over the sale of a car.
Nearly 200 Jamaicans have been killed by the police since the start of the year.
In the news from the rest of the world, Caribbean officials warn of heavy rains and big waves as tropical storm Erin nears.
Israel says its settlement plans will bury the idea of a Palestinian state.
In headline sports, several Jamaican athletes open NACAC championship in Bahamas, looking to attain world champs qualifying standards.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the JLP has taken aim at the opposition PNP's recently released manifesto, describing it as a duplication of the government's existing programs.
When I read through it, it was very clear to me that you could say that the PNP chooses the Jamaica Labour Party.
Education Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon and the chair of the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what would convince you to vote for a third party in Jamaica? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the opposition is promising to expand the Senate to include the Rastafari and Maroon communities. We'll hear from UNIA President Stephen Golding and Chief of the Moortown Maroons, Colonel Wallace Sterling.
And at 8, it's Jamaican Dads with Dennis Brooks, Garth Williams, Marlon Campbell, and Floyd Green.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, August 14, 2025.
This hour is brought to you by KFC Buckets. Let's bucket together with a KFC Family 9, Family 12, Party 15, or Party 21 bucket. Because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The governing Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, has dismissed the PNP's election manifesto as shambolic, artificially generated clone of existing government projects. The party offered the blistering assessment in a media briefing at its St. Andrew headquarters on Thursday. Flanked by the finance, education and foreign ministers, the JLP's campaign chairman, Dr. Christopher Tufton, alleged the PNP's manifesto cannot be taken seriously. Siobhan Campbell reports.
Generated in ChatGPT, Government Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the PNP's manifesto looks like a product of the well-known artificial intelligence application.
And so I asked ChatGPT, I prompted ChatGPT to write an education plan for Jamaica. Did it in ChatGPT 5. And when the results came, which I have here, sounded just like the manifesto. The education section sounded just like that. And for those of you who know, ChatGPT 5, their data was mostly cut off in October 24. So the training data that's used was from them. And so that's why it looked so much like what we've already articulated and what we are doing. So this sounds like something from AI.
Dr. Morris Dixon says it's clear the PNP, through many of its manifesto promises, is calling on voters to stick with the JLP government. JLP campaign chairman Dr. Christopher Tufton also chided the PNP's manifesto as rushed and poorly put together. He says it represents a desperate opposition.
It clearly seemed to have been a very rushed and hurriedly prepared document, just by way of how it was laid out and the errors that were in the document forces us to conclude that not a lot of thought went into it, and clearly the time that should have been spent that one would expect for an organization that is hoping to provide leadership in the country, that was certainly betrayed based on what we saw presented to the country.
Dr. Tufton says the document contains multiple spelling errors and other inaccuracies. But it was Finance Minister Favour Williams who poured the most scorn on the PNP's Mission Jamaica Love manifesto. Williams demanded answers from the opposition as to how they intended to fund their proposals. She says the PNP's claim it will use discretionary financing is a fiction. Minister Williams attacked the PNP as ignorant of the budgetary process.
I say here we are again on the eve of an election with promises from the PNP that they have not explained how they will fund. We know their history. The PNP are the party that puts more taxes on the people. They are the party that adds more debt to the debt stock. Do not let them anywhere near Jamaica House. They do not understand this country's budget. They do not understand government, and the PNP are not ready to lead.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton says the JLP will release its election manifesto in an appropriate time. He did not clarify what the party considers appropriate. Tufton dismissed claims by the PNP that the JLP has delayed its manifesto because it's out of ideas.
Jamaica Labour Party is not pursuing the strategy that the PNP is pursuing. That's their right. They can do whatever they want. If they want to put out a AI-generated cut and paste document, for me, it's an insult to the people of Jamaica and the intelligence of the people of Jamaica. But that's their business. Our business is to provide good governance. And we also have been in government for 9+ years. And we have to, as part of our approach, demonstrate what that 9 years has resulted in. Now, people naturally know, many do, some have to be reminded. That's our strategy.
Dr. Tufton says the manifesto has not yet been released in order to give Jamaicans time to digest the government's achievements document released earlier this month.
The manifesto becomes now the aspirational hope for the future. We don't want to mix up the two. So this issue of timing is based on our approach, which we think is the right approach from an understanding perspective, and nobody is going to force us because they are putting out something irrespective of all the challenges that they obviously are finding out after the fact. I mean, whether it's 8, 10 or 11 pillars, for example. So that we will put out our manifesto in short order. It's completed. A lot of work went into it.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, chairman of the JLP campaign committee.
And the Finance Minister Favour Williams has dismissed criticism that the National Finance Debate format is being changed to accommodate her.
I am prepared for the upcoming debates. I had not heard that claim before, so I can't comment on that claim at all.
The Jamaica Debates Commission has announced that this year's political debate on finance will take a team format and cover broader economic issues. It's the first time the debate is utilizing a team format. Usually the finance minister directly faces off against their opposition counterpart. Some in the PNP have criticized the change, arguing it is intended to shield Mrs. Williams. But chairman of the JLP's campaign committee, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says the party has full confidence in Williams, despite her not speaking at the party's mass rally on Sunday.
We are very comfortable and confident with our Minister of Finance. She has demonstrated, as just a while ago, that she understands the budgetary process, that she's sharp, and that she is doing and has done an excellent job.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, chairman of the JLP's campaign committee.
Labour Minister Pernell Charles says Jamaica's labour workforce needs to increase its productivity level if the country is to move forward. He says despite the country's improvement in key metrics such as unemployment and poverty rate, productivity still remains an issue.
When you look on our movement as a country, productivity still remains what you call the Achilles heel. Jamaica's labour productivity grew by only 0.3% per year, far behind other countries like Costa Rica and Domrep. And the gap is not due to any lack of talent. It's not due to us having, not understanding technology, but it is there. And at the end of the day, Jamaica has the capacity to match and surpass what is happening across our region, and that must be our goal. We must, as a collective, spare no effort to close the gap on productivity.
He notes there is a distinction to be made between being busy and being productive.
Everybody is busy, but I wonder who is really productive. If you stop anyone and ask them, they'll tell you, I'm so busy, I'm busy. But the question for us is, what are you busy doing? And are you finding the way to use your time and your energy and your resources consistently to drive output? And that's the difference between being busy and being productive.
Pernell Charles, Labour Minister. He made the remarks at the Jamaica Productivity Centre Forum on Thursday.
Nearly 200 people have been killed by the police since the start of the year. That's according to the latest figures from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM. It says up to Wednesday, August 13, 196 people have been killed by the police. According to INDECOM, the figure is nearly double the number of those killed in fatal police shootings last year. Up to August 11 last year, 102 people were reportedly killed. This year's figure is 94 more than those killed in the same period last year. It's a 92% increase in fatal police shootings when compared to the similar period last year. So far, 6 have been reported in August alone. The police killing of 3 men in separate incidents on Wednesday is the latest to be reported. It's understood one of the men killed was a triggerman in the August 9 attack on a policeman and his family in St. James. Dead is 24-year-old Orlando Thomas, also called Ninja. INDECOM says only 41 JCF members have been charged following investigations conducted between 2024 and 2025.
In the race to 32, facts matter.
Did you know that no political party has received more votes in a general election than the Jamaica Labour Party did in 1980? Yes, that's a fact. In the 1980 general election, a national poll notorious for the violence leading up to the day of the vote, 502,115 Jamaicans voted for the JLP. It's a record that stands to this day. The closest to the JLP's 1980 record is the 473,754 votes the PNP received when it won the 1989 general election.
This nationwide Did You Know fact is part of our coverage for the race to 32 as we preview the next general election.
The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is set to meet with the Finance Ministry on Friday to continue wage negotiations. The meeting is expected to begin at 10 in the morning. JTA President Dr. Mark Smith says the meeting follows the ministry's repeated delays in providing an improved offer.
We expect that coming out of that meeting, we will get an offer that we deem respectable and honors the hard work and commitment of the teachers across the length and breadth of Jamaica. We believe that the present offer of 7.5% and 0% in the first year is unacceptable and something that we are not prepared to accept at this point in time. We trust that the ministry will review the existing plans and make the requisite investment in our future as a country by investing in our students and our teachers.
Dr. Mark Smith, President of the JTA.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is
14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
32 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 out west in Montego Bay.
Following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
We estimate that there are about 20 to 25,000 who are unemployed because they do not have any skill. They are a loss to our economy. And we have tasked hard to find these 25,000. Go out into the communities, put on your training fairs, have specific agents out there doing your reconnaissance and surveillance and finding these youngsters. Get them into your training program. Offer them stipends and bus fare and lunch money. But more than that, what they need mentoring. Because oftentimes they simply do not know about the opportunities that exist. They exist on the periphery of the system and they are skeptical of the system and they don't believe that the system is set up for them. Your country needs you.
Be smart. Choose hard.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Continuing the news, the Drax Hall to Landovery Water Supply Extension Project in St. Ann was commissioned on Wednesday. The water project is valued at $370 million. The Water Minister, Matthew Samuda, told Nationwide's George Davis the country is on its way to becoming water resilient.
We have creaking infrastructure because the economy was run poorly for 40 years. And this government has fixed the economy and now has the wherewithal to fix the water sector. The World Bank's assessment is that we need $5 billion to make Jamaica water resilient. When we speak of massive investments like $92 million, we are on our way. Yes. When we speak of the $200 million being invested currently into the northwest of the island through Western Resilience Water Project, we are on the way. Yes. But we have a ways to go, George. And that is why it is so critical in this season of choice that we choose continuity and we choose unlocking significantly more resources for the water sector.
The new water supply project was completed in 6 months and involved the installation of pipeline from Drax Hall to Chester Road. It will provide an additional 2 million gallons of water per day for citizens and businesses in the surrounding areas. Minister Samuda says the project will benefit several communities.
It will significantly facilitate expansion of the housing stock, so places like Richmond, places like Paradisia, which are being built. But the low-income housing that has been identified for Landover that NHT is to be building, that some private developers are building. There are also 2 hotels to come along this corridor. But even places like Civil Heights, people a little more south in the hills may believe, as Freehill did, that it was just them that didn't have water. Yes. Civil Heights will now have reliable water. Yes. And this gives a sort of stability that allows the economic expansion from Drax Hall all the way to Discovery Bay to continue.
Matthew Samuda, the Water Minister.
The Office of the Governor General has clarified that the correct document bearing the date of the upcoming general election was sent to the official entities. This after a picture emerged of the official proclamation which incorrectly listed the election date as Thursday, September 3. The incorrect date appeared to have also been published on follow-up communication signed by the Governor General's secretary. The election is actually Wednesday, September 3. The Governor General is cautioning against sharing misrepresented information, which could cause confusion in the electoral process.
An investigation is underway into the circumstances surrounding the death of a patient after he escaped from the Kingston Public Hospital on Wednesday. The Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA, confirmed that the patient is a 24-year-old male. Sarah says the patient forcibly breached medical restraints, assaulted a member of staff, and left the hospital premises. The incident was immediately reported to the police. The health authority says the patient was returned to the hospital an hour later with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead. Sarah says it's working closely with the JCF and other relevant authorities to conduct an investigation into the incident.
This is a nationwide election nugget.
The first woman elected to the Jamaican Parliament was Iris Rudella Collins of the Jamaica Labour Party. Collins created history when she won Northwest St. James 81 years ago in 1944, defeating the legendary Alan George St. Claver Coombs. Iris Collins served in the House until her rematch with Coombs in the 1949 general election. She was defeated by more than 2,000 votes. 81 years after the first woman was elected to the House, there are now more than 40 women seeking a seat in the Parliament. They stand on the shoulders of the first woman, Iris Collins, who was the first to break the glass ceiling.
That was a nationwide election nugget.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute. Officials in the northern Caribbean are being warned of heavy rains and dangerous swells as tropical storm Erin approaches the region. The storm is expected to remain over open waters and could reach several Caribbean islands, including Antigua and Barbuda, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico by this weekend. Erin was located about 890 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. It's forecast to become a hurricane by Friday and strengthen into a Category 3 storm by late Saturday. Erin would mark the first major storm of the Atlantic hurricane season.
Israel's finance minister says plans to build more than 3,000 homes in a controversial settlement project in the occupied West Bank will bury the idea of a Palestinian state. It follows declarations in recent days by a growing number of countries of their intention to recognize Palestine as a state. The so-called E1 project had been frozen for decades amid fierce opposition internationally. It would cut off the West Bank from occupied East Jerusalem. Settlements are considered illegal under international law and form one of the most contentious issues between Israel and Palestine. Both the UN and the EU have urged Israel not to move forward with a plan.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the JLP has attacked the PMP's manifesto as AI generated, riddled with errors, and a clone of existing government programs.
It looks so much like what we've already articulated and what we are doing. So this sounds like something from AI.
But the governing party says it will not be rushed into releasing its own manifesto.
The Finance Minister, Favour Williams, is dismissing claims she's too inexperienced to stand in the finance debate on her own.
The Jamaica Teachers Association set to meet with the Finance Ministry on Friday to continue wage negotiations.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Stay ahead in your career with UWI-STAR, the short-term advancement resource center. Our programs are designed to support your professional growth. Join our community of professionals and take the next step in your career. Visit our website, www.mona.uwi.edu/short-courses to learn more about the continuing professional education programs of UWI-STAR.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You wanna do your thing with your queen or your king?
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex risky.
PrEP, are you extra bucketed?
To help you stay HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
If a hurricane mash up your house tomorrow, would your insurance fully cover it? Many Jamaicans are underinsured and don't even know it. One hurricane and they could be paying millions out of pocket. BCIC's free property valuation tool is here to help everyone update their home's rebuilding cost. Plus, when you update your sum insured with BCIC, you'll get $5 million in free contents insurance and up to 12 months to pay. Visit bciconline.com.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica and the Leeward Islands played out a draw in their West Indies Rising Star Under-17 regional cricket encounter, which ended on Thursday at the Sir Frank Royal Cricket Ground in Trinidad. Set 250 for victory. Jamaica reached 195 for 7 when the game ended. Wicketkeeper O'Dane Binns top scored at 45. Captain DeMarcus Scott 43 against Kunal Tilakani, who bagged 4 for 41 and 8 wickets in the game. The Leewards had earlier declared their second innings on 236 for 8 after resuming on their overnight 128 for 2. Captain Tanis Francis top scored with 86 and Tilakani 49 against DeMarcus Scott 3 for 47. Jamaica will next be in action on Saturday. They take on Barbados at the National Cricket Centre in Couva. The 2025 Caribbean Premier League CPL bowls off on Thursday with a lone game. The St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots will battle the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons at the Warner Park in St. Kitts at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. Jamaica's Odin Smith and Fabian Allen are members of the Falcon squad. Bangladesh star Shakib Al Hassan, West Indies players Justin Greaves, Jaden Seals and Obed McCoy along with Imad Wasim are also in the Falcon setup. The Patriots include Evan Lewis, Alec Athenaze, Jason Holder, Carl Mayers and Andre Fletcher. Meanwhile, record 4-time champions, the Trinbago Knight Riders, have announced former West Indies captain Nicholas Pooran as their new captain for the CPL. Pooran will take over the mantle of leadership from Karen Pollard, who has led the side since 2019. 21 Jamaicans will be in action on Friday's opening day of the 5th NACAC Senior Athletics Championships in Freeport, Bahamas. A number of them will be trying to attain World Championship qualifying standards, while others will be hoping to secure wild card places to the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan this September. The first in action on Friday will be Frederick Dakers and Chad Wright in the men's discus. Neither has yet to attain the World Championship standards of 67 meters 50. Dakers is best so far this season, 66 meters 33. Right, 62 meters 92. Also in action will be national 400 meters champ and record holder Rasheen McDonald, who's chasing the magic time of 44.85 seconds for automatic qualification to the World Championships. His best so far this season, 44.89, while winning the national title in June. Jamaica's Alicia James was knocked out by Colombia's Valentina Medellín in the quarterfinals of the women's singles tennis competition on Thursday at the Pan Am Games in Paraguay. James breezed through the first set 6-love but lost the second in a tiebreaker 7-5 before Medellín closed out the game 6-3 in the final set. James was the only Jamaican in action on Thursday. Jamaica's medals so far at the games are silver and bronze in swimming. Liverpool begin their English Premier League title defence against Bournemouth in the season opener at Anfield on Friday, starting at 3 o'clock Jamaica time. Arne Slot's side, favourite to repeat their title-winning heroics from last season, having invested heavily in the transfer window. However, Slot admits there are some cracks in the team's defence.
as ready as we can be. So I think I've emphasized last week on the fact that we've lost 3 or 4 starters, and unfortunately Ryan Gravenberg was not able to play last week and is not able to play this week. So that means that if you exclude the goalkeeper from the 10 outfield positions, 5 were different than the main starters we had last season. And if you then look the quality we bring on the ball, I'm very happy with that. Without the ball, it's 8 out of 10 times, also very good. But the aim at this club is not 8 out of 10 times, it's 10 out of 10 times, and that is the fine-tuning we still need to find defensively.
Liverpool's football team manager Arne Slot.
This is Nationwide's World Championships Countdown.
With 29 days to go before the Tokyo World Championships, we shine the spotlight on US heptathlete Anna Hall. After securing silver and bronze at the past 2 editions of the World Championships in Eugene and Budapest, Hall will be going for gold to complete the medal set at the World Athletics Championships Tokyo 2025 September. Following her meteoric rise in the combined events world, Hall had to overcome setback after setback to make it into top shape. The stars aligned for the 24-year-old at the hypo meeting, where she scored 7,032 points to move to equal second place on the world all-time list.
That was Nationwide's World Championship Countdown.
And of course, Nationwide 90 FM will have live and complete coverage of the World Athletics Championships from Tokyo in Japan. It starts on September 13. That's sports. We're going to be back with more, though, at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:30.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
32 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's a 31 in the western city, Montego Bay. And this is an important announcement from Digicel. Digicel apologizes to our prepaid customers who have been unable to activate a data plan. Our technical team is working around the clock to restore our service as soon as possible. In the meantime, all active prepaid customers can enjoy free data on us until service is fully restored. Let me do that again. All active prepaid customers can enjoy free data on us on Digicel until service is fully restored. We truly appreciate your patience and will keep you updated. Stay tuned to social media at Digicel Jamaica for more details. That was an important announcement from Digicel.
KFC this summer, we are bucket together. All I vibe with your crew, yeah, we are stay true, the taste is so good. KFC, bucket on the ends with the real one. My island, we are world champion. All of we connect with the KFC. Jamrock celebrate with we. KFC, we are bucket together.
Let's bucket together with KFC. Enjoy a family 9, family 12, party 15, or party 21 bucket, because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger licking good. KFC.
A+ for back to school? Yep, you can score that. Just grab an A+ back to school loan from Access Financial. Why? Reduced interest rates, duh. Plus, you could win your loan interest free.
That's right. Apply for an A+ back to school loan and you could be entered to win your loan interest free in the Lucky Loans promotion.
From school fees to footwear, uniforms to book lists, we've got you covered.
For back to school, the only thing you need is a reduced rate loan from Access Financial's A+ back to school promotion. Conditions apply.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
KFC this summer, we are bucking together.
Well, I vibe with your crew, yeah, we are stay true, the taste is so good.
KFC, bucket on the ends with the real one. My island, we are world champion.
All of we connect with the KFC.
Jamrock celebrate with we. KFC, we are bucking together.
Let's bucket together with KFC. Enjoy a Family 9, Family 12, Party 15, or Party 21 bucket because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger-licking good. KFC.
Track and Field's global showpiece heads back to Asia for its 2025 staging. The World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan is live on Nationwide 90 FM. September 13 to 21.
Great start from Seville, who's got a bit of a march on. No Lyles. Seville's going to win this. Brilliant race. He even has time to salute.
How will the Jamaicans stack up? The likes of Kishane, Oblique, Nikisha, Tina, Sherika, and Lavelle, all seeking podium spots.
Really good running on the near side too from Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton takes it there.
And the world will say goodbye to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
She brings the curtain down on her 18-year career. She goes back to where it all started.
And she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Live every moment from the World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan, September 13 to 21 live with a kind of coverage only Nationwide 90 FM provides.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink. Access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink. 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink. 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
This is the Race to 32, the battle for Jamaica House and the issues that matter. Your voice, your vote.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis, and this afternoon we're focusing on the JLP's media briefing, which was held today. And from that media briefing, the JLP has taken aim at the opposition People's National Party, their manifesto, describing it as a duplication of the government's existing programs. The PNP presented their manifesto dubbed Mission Jamaica Love on Tuesday evening at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel.
Wrapped up in the Mission Jamaica Love slogan are justice for all, access to quality education, modern infrastructure, agriculture and food security, innovation and industry, care for the vulnerable, and accountability in governance. Now, the love aspect deals with land, housing and ownership, opportunity for youth, violence prevention, and environmental resilience.
However, the governing Jamaica Labour Party, the JLP, says the opposition's manifesto was generated by artificial intelligence, AI, mimicking initiatives that are already in train. Finance Minister Fayval Williams questioned how they intend to fund their proposals. She says the PNP's claim it will use discretionary financing is a fiction.
The minister also attacked the PNP as ignorant of the budgetary process.
I say here we are again on the eve of an election with promises from the PNP that they have not explained how they will fund. We know their history. The PNP are the party that puts more taxes on the people. They are the party that adds more debt to the debt stock. Do not let them anywhere near Jamaica House. They do not understand this country's budget. They do not understand government, and the PNP are not ready to lead.
That's Fayval Williams. She is the Minister of Finance. She was speaking at the media briefing hosted by the JLP at their Belmont Road headquarters. Meanwhile, Education Minister Senator Dana Morrison-Dixon, Chair of the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Campaign Chairman Dr. Christopher Tufton, and Chairman of the party's Communication Task Force, Apka Fitz-Henley, were also in attendance. Well, joining us to discuss further, we have the chair of the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, and we also have Minister of Education and a member of the JLP's Communication Task Force, that's Dana Morris-Dixon. Good afternoon, ladies, and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you? Good afternoon, Debo. Good afternoon, Dana. Good afternoon, listeners.
Doing well. Thanks for joining us. Sanjay?
Yeah, let me start with you, Dana Morris-Dixon. I'm getting used to not using senator for now. No, well, the PNP's education plan includes expanding student loan forgiveness, lowering interest rates, and assisting 20,000 students annually. In essence, the JLP is saying that is already in train. Talk to us about what the JLP has done and how does it compare to what the PNP is proposing?
All right, thank you very much. And, as you go through their manifesto, it is clear that it is a copy and paste of our policies and what we are already doing. Even if you just brought up the Student Loan Bureau one, there have been so many amazing changes to the Student Loan Bureau in recent years. I mean, we can just go off in terms of many of them, in terms of the interest rate changes that have been done, the longer period, the repayment moratorium after you've finished, moving from 6 months to 14 months. If you have a GPA, grade point average of more than 2.5, you qualify for a reduction in your interest rate. These are things we're already doing. If you're on path or you're in a household where the income for the household is below $1.5 million, we give you a grant, which is money that you don't have to pay back. So there's a lot that has happened in SLB already in terms of making it so much more accessible for our people and throughout in terms of all of the ideas for children or young people or education system. It reads like some of the speeches that I have written, others in the administration have given. It sounds like an endorsement. It is clearly an endorsement of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Senator Johnson-Smith, you were also pretty scathing in your criticism, outlining that certainly as it relates to international relations, for example, you mentioned CARICOM and the leading role that we're playing. But you also had something to say about how the opposition has approached national security. What is it about that troubles you so much?
What about it troubles me so much, and thank you for the question, is that it fails it absolutely ignores, as a matter of fact, the most fundamental cause of crime, of violent crime at this point in time. I mean, we've been working relentlessly to try to bring down crime, and we're at 40% and trending down further. And it has been a battle royal. We have been bringing down the gangs from more than 300 to over 100. And this is a manifesto that absolutely ignores the reason for 70% of our murders. How can that be a sensible position to put forward to the country? And it ignores the fundamentals, and therefore, if you misdiagnose a problem or you don't understand the illness, you cannot cure it. And the concern is therefore that the PNP is going to again, and it's not that we don't believe in a public health approach. Mm-hmm. Prime Minister has spoken about that from a long time. Mm-hmm. And we do have social interventions. We do have violence prevention programs. We do have at-risk youth programs, and they're all going very well. All of that is part of the ecosystem.
of the national security architecture that is now delivering results. But they don't stand alone. They only are standing because we are dismantling the gangs, because we recognize that they are the cause of more than 70% of murders. So if you want to put forward a manifesto on crime, on crime management, and you leave out the most fundamental issue, then you've already gotten a failing grade.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you said something, Mrs. Johnson-Smith, and when I listened to you at the media briefing, and just now you said the misdiagnosis of the problem, am I correct in saying that is at the heart of the problem that the JLP's campaign takes with this manifesto, that you think it misdiagnoses a whole host of problems, and therefore the opposition would not be credible in addressing them?
I think it's one of the deficiencies of the document. The document is insincere. It tries to position itself as this peace-loving party that has not, and that loves its country, when they've been tearing down Jamaica internationally, tearing down not only the government opportunistically as an opposition, but crossing that line into unpatriotic utterances and behavior, and then, just thinking that if they say Jamaica love and put a really pretty picture on the front, everyone will forget that they've been saying that the media is bought out. They've been saying that, Jamaica is corrupt, because they can't ignore and believe that if you're trying to indict a government, you are actually indicting your country, especially when you speak about it in that way in other countries. Ignoring the fact that the Transparency Perception Index is actually has been at the highest level under this administration, not under them. It's a number of things that they seem to be thinking that they can just say anything, and it's actually what they've been doing for quite some time. Say anything, see if it sticks. Let's say we'll do a 3.0, income tax threshold. Oh, that can't work. Okay, well, let's just say that we're thinking about it. Let's put a little tax on food. Oh, no, people don't believe that is actually sensible. Oh, let's walk it back. Let's
or an extra 2 hours on
education.
School day.
Yes, exactly, Dana. Let's put 2 more hours on teaching hours. But then, they don't love that, so let's just not put it in the manifesto. It's like policy making by trial and error. Let's see what sticks. There's no deep understanding of the work at hand, and it's offensive to the Jamaican people. I think it's offensive. It's not taking Jamaican people seriously.
We're up on the break, ladies, but when we come back, I want to look a little bit on the macroeconomic gains, because the People's National Party, they also took a swipe at your administration. So let's take the break and come back and discuss that.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Bird Shack Fried Chicken Summer Vibes promotion. Spend $1,000 or more at any store this August and win weekly prizes of JBL speakers or earbuds, plus a grand prize of a 50-inch smart TV. Bird Shack Fried Chicken.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken is...
It's 31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 out west in Montego Bay.
GPS! Keep it cool, keep it cool. Summertime hot, but we have all the tools. Keep it cool, keep it cool. Enough ways to see it, you just have to choose. Stay out of the fridge, just use a igloo. Remember your Kisco ice and the juice. The fan AC combo, yeah, I hit that. AC for a bit, then a fan after that. Keep it cool, keep it cool. This summer JPS have all the tools. Keep you cool with JPS. Download the JPS app today.
KFC this summer, we are bucking together.
Well, I vibe with your crew, yeah, we are stay true, the taste is so good.
KFC, bucket on the ends with the real one. My island, we are world champion.
All of we connect with the KFC.
Jamrock celebrate with we. KFC, we are bucking together.
Let's bucket together with KFC. Enjoy a Family 9, Family 12, Party 15, or Party 21 bucket, because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger licking good. KFC.
Parents, make this back-to-school season hassle-free and visit Stationery World and Book Center Limited. Get books for all ages, school supplies, uniforms, shoes, and much more. You can also get your office supplies and office furniture at one location. WhatsApp your book list to 876-298-1526 or visit them in Kingston at 5 Sandringham Avenue or their new location at Morant Bay Urban Center, St. Thomas. Call 876-618-7922 or 876-619-093122. Stationery World. There is meaning in our name.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. You're tuned into the cover story, and the JLP has responded to the PMP's election manifesto, essentially dismissing it as shambolic, not well thought out. We have chair of the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, the Education Minister and member of the JLP's Communication Task Force, Senator Dana Morris-Dixon, is with us as well. I'm going to keep saying Senator until tomorrow, Sanjay, because I think that's when the Parliament is officially dissolved. But let me ask you, Dr. Morris-Dixon, this approach of, I think you termed it policy on the fly, or Senator Johnson-Smith termed it policy on the fly. What should the Jamaican people make of that?
No, if you look at the manifesto, it is very, very clear that I've read it before. And I remember I read through it on Tuesday night. And I'm Minister of Information, so I have to know what's going on in the ministries. And I kept saying, I've seen this before, I've heard this before, this is something that we're doing. And as I spent time going through each of the areas, agriculture, health, education, it was just a litany of, these are things that are being done. It's in that budget presentation from that minister. It's in that document. So there is obviously an acknowledgement that the Jamaica Labour Party has done well, because they want to continue doing what the Jamaica Labour Party has done.
But what if the PMP says they're going to do it better? What if that is their response?
There is absolutely no credibility around that.
Why do you say so?
Very, very confidently. And I'm someone who used to study or economy. I've done work on the Jamaican economy since independence. And I remember as a student of economics wondering when we were ever going to get it right in terms of our economy, because we had made so many missteps. And I have seen the progress that this administration has worked. That's why I left private sector to come and help, was because I finally felt that there was a government, a prime minister who understood what we needed to do, and I wanted to be a part of that. This is the team that can deliver an achievements document with 256 things that they said they were going to do. Everybody would usually just talk. A manifesto is usually just a talk shop. You just put some things on a paper pie in the sky. But we are the ones that have put ideas on the table and have been able to implement it. There is no way anyone can tell me that, or can tell Jamaicans who are really thinking it through, that they can do it better than us. If you looked even on the panel today that was looking at the manifesto in detail, you saw people, all of us have worked in the private sector. All of us have been successful in our areas, but we all decided to come and work on this project. We're implementers already, and we came in and working under the leadership of a visionary like our Prime Minister. We have been implementing. And so I think the record is absolutely clear. There is no doubt about it. And then when you read the manifesto and you read the fact that they're just regurgitating what we've said we're doing and we're successfully doing, it again tells you that they're saying to Jamaica, choose the Jamaica Labour Party. That is very clear.
But Dr. Morris-Dixon, when you say no one can do it as good as the JLP government has done it, what do you say to the Jamaican people listening who say, but that sounds arrogant, it smacks of arrogance?
No, I think we have to look at facts. And we work in the world of facts, right? And we've had so many years where we always talked about Jamaica and the Jamaican economy, for example, as a basket case. And now we can confidently talk about the macroeconomic statistics. We can talk about our debt to GDP ratio and how magnificently it has come down. We can talk about the lowest unemployment in history. These are things that are not arrogant. It is us being proud of who we are as Jamaicans. We always knew we had it in us. When they were saying we were a basket case, we were never that. And so the Jamaica Labour Party, through doing the hard work, it's hard work. It's not easy to make some of the decisions. But doing that hard work, we've been able to produce the results that Jamaicans are asking for. If you look at crime, no government has been able to do what this administration has been able to do in 1 year, that 40% reduction year on year. That is a fact. There is no arrogance there. They're just facts. We're speaking facts.
I want to hear you, Senator Camille.
May I come in a bit on that point?
I just want to segue, before you go to that, the macroeconomic gains, because the JLP boasts heavily on it. And the PNP claims that the macroeconomic gains under your administration have not meaningfully reached ordinary Jamaicans, with the inflation pressures, the high food prices, the stagnant wages still an issue, they say. How do you convince our voters that this critique that the PNP has levied against the JLP is wrong?
Okay, I just want to go back to the point before I take this point, if you don't mind.
Sure,
that's really just to say, because you even subliminally are using the word boast. When we speak about our achievements, we literally are not seeking to boast. We are really trying to advance thinking and promote the maturity of our democracy by saying, vote for performance. Politics is inherently emotional. We recognize that entirely. But as we mature as a country, it's also very important that we look at, as Dana said, facts. We look at performance, who has delivered for us and who has not. So when you look at a performance of the people of the PNP in the 1970s, what happened to Jamaica's economy? What happened to people's living standards? What happened after in the 90s? Interest rates, people took them out at 10%, at 13%. They went up to 130. Think about that in your daily life now. If I took out a car loan, and so many young people and middle-aged people have been able to buy their first car, they've been able to buy their first home. NHT has issued more than 67,000 mortgages in the time that we have been in office. There's so much good that is happening that it's important to speak about it and to campaign, to say, not arrogantly, but yes, confidently, as Dana has said, and proudly, but more fundamentally about promoting. Think about who is able to deliver, because it's not, these things are not easy. They don't happen by chance. You don't get through one in a 100-year pandemic well as one of the best, most successful countries in terms of your ability to recover. You don't get through that just by chance. It's really very hard work. And we are wanting the Jamaican people to think about this, not just think about their tradition in voting and think about their household in voting in terms of how they have always voted before. We want them to actively look. What happened to Jamaica in the 70s? What happened in the 90s? What happened in the 2000s? What does that mean about that team that governs and how this one is different? Now, on the criticism that we are that people are not feeling the macroeconomic gains, we are very clear that there is more to do. We are clear, and we're committed to doing the work, and we've been saying that everywhere. So 350,000 people have gotten water for the first time in their pipes, but we know that that is not everyone who still needs water. So we're committed to work to bring more water to people. 600 and it's actually I don't have the exact number of roads that have been fixed. I know Spark has a target of 600, but many roads are being fixed across the length and breadth of Jamaica. But we know every road hasn't been fixed. We're committed to doing more. And on the macroeconomic gains, we've been passing these on to people, to the entire Jamaica as much as possible, as much as we can do responsibly while making sure we're able to do more. So it's important to recognize we've given the highest increase in minimum wage. I don't know if you're old enough to remember at a point in time when if minimum wage $200 increased by $200 in a year, it was a lot, you know, and a committee would sit and look, and we have been very, very aggressive in making sure that we try to ensure that cost that people are able at the lowest level of income earning, they're able to keep up with the cost of living increases which are impacted by international conditions. We've given the largest increase in PATH grants. We've added educational grants. We've cut GCT on electricity from 15% to 7%. We have ensured that the interest rates at the NHT have been lowered. We've removed all of the fees from HEART so that people are able to get training. We've given stipends for people who say, boy, yes, I really want to get trained, but I don't even have money for transportation or food, so I can't do it. We've said, let's remove all those barriers. There's a stipend based on attendance that will allow you to get the training you need responsibly and without a burden on yourself, so that you can take care of your family. There's so many things that have been done that really are making sure there's a direct impact on people's lives at every level. The income tax threshold, we've moved it as much as possible while maintaining fiscal responsibility and stability.
So
but
do I hear you saying...
Try to dismiss. Sorry, let me hear your interpretation.
Right. So do I hear you saying that there have been tangible efforts to ensure that people, as Sanjay said, feel the economic gains?
Absolutely, and responsibly. There have been specific and tangible and impactful benefits. PATH across the board. Dana spoke about earlier the fact that children on PATH have been getting one lunch a day for 5 days a week. When we came into office, it was 3. We increased it to 5. We didn't find it at 5. We increased it to 5. And she has gone further and increased it on all of the underperforming schools to 2 meals a day. So we've been doing more. The rural bus system that we're bringing is going to cut the cost of transportation for parents massively. $50 a day, so one in either direction. And Prime Minister has even said, boy, recognizing that, you know, expenses rise during the back-to-school period, we're going to give you 2 months of free school travel if you're tertiary with your school ID, and all children traveling on the rural bus system and JUTC for the 2 months that we know have the highest burdens of expenses as people transfer and change schools, and as they start the new school system.
Up on 6 o'clock, but I have 2 more for you.
Practically as well.
All right, so one for you, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, and the other for the Education Minister. How do you respond to the critics who say, yes, I hear you. You've criticized the PNP's manifesto. You don't think it's workable, but we don't have yours. And so your criticisms are unfair because we still don't have yours.
Well, they're absolutely not unfair because theirs copied everything that we're doing already on most of their most sensible provisions. And then the others have lots of question marks over them. I do understand people's desire to see the manifesto, but I want to tell you that statistically, I have more requests for our achievements books than manifesto. People want to see what has been done of which they weren't aware, and these are people who are not necessarily traditional voters. These are people who are thinking about voting for the first time. They know that the manifesto will come, and they're willing to receive it and to digest it when it comes, and we will. We're not being arrogant or disrespectful in not issuing the manifesto. I think it's rare. I'm not sure I had ever heard about a manifesto that had been issued this early, and I think the PNP only did it not because they were being transparent, but because they wanted to have a response to our achievement booklet, because they don't have one.
But there's a timeline, though, Minister, that you can have both documents and compare them side to side. At least a timeline. I don't give you a timeline because our campaign hasn't been run like that. We've been keeping an element of excitement and an element of interest, and we're being responsive. So we've not hidden from the press. We've not shared information, but we are a government that has been in place for 9 years, and we've been working hard.
And people still don't know because all of the things that we've been doing, it's impossible to speak about it, A, and B, they've maybe not been publicized as fully as possible. And now it's important for people taking a decision at this critical time for them to understand what we've been doing. So it's not at all, and it's not an arrogant position, and it's not a resistant position. What it is saying, at this stage, we're still getting a lot of requests to look at our achievements and to discuss those more. And we will make the appropriate announcements at the best time, still allowing for digestion and examination.
Hear you. Senator Dana Morris Dixon, final one to you. You mentioned, for example, why you left the private sector and got involved, and you talked about you said this mission, this project, you wanted to be a part of it. I think that's a unique message, especially to people who say they will stay away, not necessarily from being in a government, but voting, participating in the process at all. What do you say to them this afternoon?
I tell them that the stakes are so high. When I finished university and I went overseas to study, and I returned back to Jamaica, people asked me if I was crazy, you could have stayed. But I came back home. I now live to hear my own classmates who decided to leave and to stay abroad saying to me, I like where Jamaica is going. That doesn't happen by chance. That happens by choosing leadership, choosing a team that can do the right thing and has a vision for our country and is willing to do the hard work to take us forward. And so for those who may be undecided, I say to you that this democratic process that we're on is absolutely important. And I implore all Jamaicans to be a part of this, to listen to what is being said. Think about the future of Jamaica that you want. We want a bright Jamaica. We want a Jamaica where all Jamaicans want to come back to it. And that's what we are building. And it means that people have to make that right choice. And we think that we are definitely that choice that has been able to deliver for the people of Jamaica.
Have to leave it there. 5 minutes over. We have to leave it there. Dr. Dana Morris Dixon is the Education Minister. She's also a member of the JLP's Communication Task Force. Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, of course, is the Foreign Affairs Minister. She chairs the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee. Always a pleasure, ladies. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The hour was brought to you by KFC Buckets. Let's bucket together with a KFC Family 9, Family 12, Party 15, or Party 21 bucket. Because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger-licking good.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
5 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. The governing JLP has dismissed the PNP's election manifesto as a shambolic, artificial-generated clone of existing government projects. Government Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the manifesto looks like a product of the well-known AI application.
And so I asked ChatGPT, I prompted ChatGPT to write an education plan for Jamaica. Did it in ChatGPT 5. And when the results came, which I have here, sounded just like the manifesto. The education section sounded just like that. And for those of you who know, ChatGPT 5, their data was mostly cut off in October 24th. So the training data that's used was from them. And so that's why it looked so much like what we've already articulated and what we are doing. So this sounds like something from AI.
Dana Morris Dixon, government senator. JLP campaign chairman Dr. Christopher Tufton also chided the PNP's manifesto as rushed and poorly put together. He says it represents a desperate opposition.
It clearly seemed to have been a very rushed and hurriedly prepared document, just by way of how it was laid out and the errors that were in the document forces us to conclude that not a lot of thought went into it, and clearly the time that should have been spent that one would expect for an organization that is hoping to provide leadership in the country, that was certainly betrayed based on what we saw presented to the country.
Dr. Tufton says the JLP will release its election manifesto in an appropriate time. He dismissed the claims by the PNP that the JLP has delayed its manifesto because it's out of ideas.
Jamaica Labour Party is not pursuing the strategy that the PNP is pursuing. That's their right. They can do whatever they want. If they want to put out a AI-generated cut and paste document, for me it's an insult to the people of Jamaica and the intelligence of the people of Jamaica. But that's their business. Our business is to provide good governance. And we also have been in government for 9+ years. And we have to, as part of our approach, demonstrate what that 9 years has resulted in. Now, people naturally know, many do, some have to be reminded. That's our strategy.
Christopher Tufton, chairman of the JLP campaign committee. Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says Jamaica's workforce needs to increase its productivity levels if the country is to move forward. He says despite the country's improvement in key areas, productivity remains an issue.
When you look on our movement as a country, productivity still remains what we call the Achilles heel. Jamaica's labor productivity grew by only 0.3% per year, far behind other countries like Costa Rica and DOMREP. And the gap is not due to any lack of talent. It's not due to us having, not understanding technology, but it is there. And at the end of the day, Jamaica has the capacity to match and surpass what is happening across our region, and that must be our goal. We must, as a collective, spare no effort to close the gap on productivity.
Pernell Charles Jr., Labour Minister. The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is set to meet with the Finance Ministry on Friday to continue wage negotiations. The meeting is expected to begin at 10 a.m. JTA President Dr. Mark Smith says the meeting follows the ministry's repeated delays in providing an improved offer.
We expect that coming out of that meeting, we will get an offer that we deem respectable and honors the hard work and commitment of the teachers across the length and breadth of Jamaica. We believe that the present offer of 7.5% and 0% in the first year is unacceptable and something that we are not prepared to accept at this point in time. We trust that the ministry will review their existing plans and make the requisite investment in our future as a country by investing in our students and our teachers.
Dr. Mark Smith, president of the JTA. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smykel. Sports is next.
Spring into style with Unique Living. Upgrade your home with our extensive range of products. Get sleek shower panels, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, plus kitchen sinks, closet solutions, ceiling fans, and more. Available in various finishes and sizes. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit our website at www.uniquelivingja.com. Don't wait to spring into style with Unique Living.
This is an important announcement from Digicel. Digicel apologizes to our prepaid customers who've been unable to activate a data plan. Our technical team is working around the clock to restore service as soon as possible. In the meantime, all active prepaid customers can enjoy free data on us until service is fully restored. We truly appreciate your patience and will keep you updated. Stay tuned to social media Digicel Jamaica for more details. That was an important announcement from Digicel.
Getting ready for school is as easy as KB. Shop at Kingston Bookshop between July 14 to September 6, 2025 for your chance to win big in our back to school promotion. Spend just $5,000 before GCT, shop online or in store, and you could win $150,000 in cash, an HP laptop, or a Samsung Galaxy Tab A9. It's back to school the easy way, only at KB. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Short-sightedness, the inability to see well in the distance, is on the rise and is affecting millions of children worldwide, increasing their risk of serious eye conditions later in life. At IQ Optical, we're proud to lead the fight against short-sightedness with revolutionary Maya Smart therapeutic lenses, specifically designed for young eyes. This month only, your child can receive a free second pair of our revolutionary lenses. Help protect your child's vision today. Visit IQ Optical, where clarity never looked sharper.
Track and Field's global showpiece heads back to Asia for its 2025 staging. The World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan is live on Nationwide 90 FM. September 13 to 21.
Great start from Seville, who's got a little bit of a march on Noel Lyles. Seville's going to win this. Brilliant ridge. He even has time to salute.
How will the Jamaicans stack up? The likes of Kishane, Oblique, Nikisha, Tina, Sherika and Lavelle all seeking podium spots.
Really good running on the near side too from Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton takes it there.
And the world will say goodbye to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
She brings the curtain down on her 18-year career. She goes back to where it all started.
And she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Live every moment from the World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan, September 13 to 21 live with a kind of coverage only Nationwide 90 FM provides.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Raby. We bowl things off with some cricket at sports time. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots reached 15 for 1 after 2 overs against Antigua and Barbuda Falcons in the opening match of the 2025 Caribbean Premier League CPL at Warner Park in St. Kitts. Jamaica's Dean Smith and Fabian Allen are members of the Falcon squad. Bangladesh star Shakib Al Hassan, West Indies players Justin Greaves, Jaden Seals and Ahmed McCoy, along with Imad Wasim, are also in the Falcon setup. The Patriots include Evan Lewis, Alec Athanes, Jason Holder, Kyle Mears and Andre Fletcher. Meanwhile, record 4-time champions the Trinbago Knight Riders have announced former West Indies captain Nicholas Pooran as their new captain for CPL 25. Pooran will take over the mantle of leadership from Kieran Pollard, who has led the side since 2019. Jamaica and the Leeward Islands played out a draw in their West Indies Rising Star on the 17 regional cricket encounter, which ended on Thursday at the Sir Frank Worrell Cricket Ground in Trinidad. Set 250 for victory, Jamaica reached 195 for 7 when the game ended. Wicketkeeper Dane Baines top scored with 45 and captain DeMarcus Scott 43 against Kunal Tilokani 4 for 41 and 8 wickets in the game. The Leewards had earlier declared their second innings on 236 for 8 after resuming on their overnight 128 for 2. Captain Tanez Francis top scored with 86 and Tilokani 49 against DeMarcus Scott 3 for 47. Jamaica will next be in action on Saturday against Barbados at the National Cricket Centre. 21 Jamaicans will be in action on Friday's opening day of the 5th NACOC Senior Athletics Championships in Freeport, Bahamas. A number of them will be trying to attain World Championships qualifying standards, while others will be hoping to secure wildcard places in Tokyo as NACOC champions. The first in action on Friday will be Frederick Dakers and Chad Wright in the men's discus. Neither has yet to attain the World Championship standard of 67.50 meters. Dakers' best so far this season 66.33, while Wright is 62.92 meters. Also in action will be national 400 meters champion and record holder Rasheen McDonald, who's chasing the magic time of 44.85 seconds for automatic qualification to the World Championships. His best so far this season 44.89 seconds while winning the national title. Jamaica's Alicia James was knocked out by Colombia's Valentina Mediorial in the quarterfinals of the women's singles tennis competition on Thursday at the Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay. James breezed through the first set 6-love, but lost the second on a tiebreaker 7-5 before Mediorial closed out the game 6-3 in the final set. James was the only Jamaican in action on Thursday. Jamaica's medals so far at the Games are silver and bronze in swimming. Jamaican international Leon Bailey could be on the move before the September 1 summer transfer deadline in Europe. Craig Butler, agent of Bailey, while speaking with Nationwide Sports, confirmed that there are several teams vying for the 28-year-old's signature.
Roma, there's Besiktas, there's clubs in Saudi, and we're just focusing on, and there are 2 Premier League teams as well. So we're so focusing on getting the best that we can for our client, and we always will. And once we're complete, we move from there.
Since his arrival in England from Bayern Leverkusen in Germany, Bailey has played 110 games for Aston Villa while scoring 16 goals. According to Butler, Aston Villa is still close to Bailey's heart, and a decision will be made in the next 72 hours as to if he'll either stay or take his talent to another club.
Each option presents favorable opportunities that we have to consider. At the same time, Leon is signed to Aston Villa, and he has to continue to show his respect and loyalty to the club. I am doing my job, and we will have a decision within the next 48 to 72 hours.
Craig Butler. Now, Liverpool begin their English Premier League title defence against Bournemouth in the season opener at Anfield Friday afternoon at 3. On his slot side are favourite to repeat their league title winning Heroics from last season, having invested heavily in the transfer window. However, Slot admits there are some cracks in the team's defence.
As ready as we can be. So I think I've emphasized last week on the fact that we've lost 3 or 4 starters, and unfortunately Ryan Gravenberg was not able to play last week and is not able to play this week. So that means that if you exclude the goalkeeper from the 10 outfield positions, 5 were different than the main starters we had last season. And if you then look the quality we bring on the ball, I'm very happy with that. Without the ball, it's 8 out of 10 times, also very good. But the aim at this club is not 8 out of 10 times, it's 10 out of 10 times, and that is the fine-tuning we still need to find defensively.
Arne Slot. Now, President of Jamaica's Olympic Association, JOA, Christopher Samuda, says the return of his entire slate to guide the affairs of the association for another 4 years is testament to the confidence the member federations have in the stewardship of his administration. Samuda was returned to the top job unopposed at the association's annual general meeting and elections on Wednesday. Treasurer Nicole Case was also returned unopposed. Meanwhile, First Vice President Jacqueline Cowan, who was initially being challenged by Raymond Anderson, was eventually returned unopposed after Anderson withdrew his candidacy before the meeting and did not attend. Robert Scott again beat Ian Forbes for the second Vice President position with a vote of 44-4. Nicole Grant with 46 votes, Gary Peart 46, Karen Anderson 46, Anthony Wilmot 45 and Laurel Smith 45 all return as directors of the JOA. Samuda says the overwhelming support of his slate is humbling.
And a reminder to my directors and I that we are simply custodians of the Olympic assets of Jamaica, that we must serve selflessly without expecting any reward or applause. We must put humanity over money. For the currency and the value of sport reside in our athletes and coaches and our member associations and federations whom we serve.
Christopher Samuda. Now, Minister of Sports Oliver Grains has given $1.5 million to enable the national youth team to participate in the Goodwill Swimming Championships in Barbados from August 15 to 17. Minister Grains made the presentation during a courtesy call by members of the team. She says the donation through the Sports Development Foundation is an investment in the young swimmers.
We are sending off our swimmers to the Goodwill Games, and I thought it was important to give them financial support in order to prepare them adequately. They're all young swimmers. They are the future stars, and even at the tender age, they are doing exceptionally well as swimmers. And so we have to make sure that we nurture our sportsmen and sportswomen from an early age so they can become outstanding performers, continue the reputation that Jamaica has of being represented well by our sportsmen and sportswomen.
Now, 9-10 age group swimmer Jordana Thomas says she has put in the hard work to hear Jamaica's anthem play at the games.
My preparation for Goodwill was hard because of all of the long hours of training I had to put in. My goals for Goodwill are to do personal best times, break some records, and bring home some medals.
This is Nationwide's World Championships Countdown. Now, with 29 days to go before the Tokyo World Championships, we shine the spotlight on US heptathlete Anna Hall. After securing silver and bronze at the past 2 editions of the World Championships, Hall will be going for gold to complete the medal set at the World Athletics Championships Tokyo 25 in September. Following her meteoric rise in the combined events world, Hall had to overcome setback after setback to make it to top shape. The stars aligned for the 24-year-old at the Hypo meeting, where she scored 7,032 points to move to equal second on the world all-time list. That was Nationwide's World Championship Countdown. I'm Alex Riby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:23.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Suzuki got some amazing wins for the summer. If you want something amazing, run go down a Suzuki. Buy one of them carrier, Frank's XL7, Chimney 5-door, Grand Vitara. And get a chance to win a weekend trip to Panama for 2 monthly prizes for back to school. Plus adventure giveaways, only valid at Stewart's Automotive, Kingston and Mobile. Some amazing Suzuki, some amazing, some amazing Suzuki, some amazing. Conditions apply. Visit SuzukiJamaica.com for some amazing win.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Since 2016, the National Housing Trust has been transforming the housing landscape in Jamaica. Over the past 9 years, the NHT has created more than 67,000 mortgages, started over 31,000 housing solutions, and completed more than 21,000 homes. Over that period, the Trust has invested more than 343 billion Jamaican dollars in expanding housing access and improving living conditions across the island. That is the largest expenditure on housing in Jamaica's history and in the history of the NHT.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robeanne Williams. A special good evening to our YouTubers over there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We want to hear from you, so we're asking to weigh in live in the comments section on our Public Opinion. It's selection season. We're gearing up. The race to 32, that's what we've dubbed our coverage as. And, sometimes we often forget that there are more than 2 political parties, right? So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, what would convince you to vote for a third party in Jamaica? That's the question we're putting to you, members of the public, and we want to answer, yeah? Because we value your opinion. Let's go to our X platform, where Mon Ican is saying, I would have to see hear and feel their presence and work over a period of time. I wouldn't vote for them now. They need to get more involved in the daily runnings, not just spouting water all of a sudden. Afghanistan Rasta is saying NDM had the greatest potential to win even one seat in Jamaican Parliament and they couldn't. So let's stick with the Choose Jamaica team. Only Tweet is saying nothing at this point. I'm pleased and happy with the current government. And let me see. Churlu Henry saying even if I wouldn't vote for a man who's greed for plump. Let him lose his. Okay. All right. On our Instagram platform, what would convince you to vote for a third party in Jamaica? Philip King says, I'm already convinced that my party JLP is doing a good job. Okay. Ms. Lady is saying, if then give me 2 AC. Oh, if them give 2 AC. Must summon every powers for make everybody vote for them. Wow, Ms. Lady. Wow. Wow. Okay. Chris is saying if Lisa Hanna formed it, he would vote for a third party if Lisa Hanna formed it. Let me see. Mark Koch is saying, honestly, for the first time in my life, I'm convinced Jamaica is on the right track for economic growth. He's saying that the JLP has delivered. J3T's Queen is saying they have workable, realistic policies. If they care for all, not some, the average Jamaicans are affected as well. Like example, school bus system. Average Jamaican children are stuck because of taxi and who can afford to pay taxi. That will be eased and money can be used to give their children something they need. Third party doesn't work in Jamaica, says Robert Gregory Lewis. Queen Shad says lowest crime in history, lowest poverty rate, most roads fixed during this administration, raised NIS pension. She's rolling off some achievements there. Kashifan, this is Kayshawn. Okay, Kayshawn is saying the manifesto, which includes barring persons from ever doing politics again or jail time without the bias of public office position, minimum wage being tied to oil prices. Okay. The governing party and current opposition, that would convince you to vote. That's according to Tony Sang. Lethal Man is saying Jamaica has many political parties other than PNP and JLP, but remember, they have to be registered. The problem is those parties don't really have any money, so people don't really vote for them. Yeah? Remember, Rohan Chung ran as an independent in 2020 and advertised himself, but no one voted for him. Okay. Money. According to Twain says money would convince him to vote for a third party in Jamaica. On our Facebook platform, Fitzmatis is saying motivation for supporting a third party would arise from persistent failure, including an absolute frustration with the existing political parties now in existence. The situation of poor stewardship is synonymous and easily identified with the one presently in opposition. Wow. Winston Winterston is saying if Andrew Holness was its leader. Roy Lawrence is saying drop the politicians' pay or raise other civil servants to be equalized. Put laws in place to send politicians to prison who steal the country's resources. Implement the death penalty. A member of parliament has to own a house or have permanent residency in the constituency. He's also calling for term limits for Prime Minister. We vote for Prime Minister separately from members of Parliament, cut down on the number of MPs and councillors because they are unnecessary. So, Roy Lawrence is saying all of that would convince him to vote for a third party. Don MC is saying their philosophy, ideas and leadership. I voted for NDM once. Yeah. Nina Simone is saying if Andrew Holness forms another party, then it would convince her to vote for a third party. Wesley Cunningham is saying nothing wrong, will continue to choose Jamaica. Nikki Becky is saying if Nigel Clark is the leader, he would be convinced. Let me see if I can get Audley Phillip in on this one. Historically, voting for a third party is a waste of time. They do not stand a realistic chance of winning or even coming close to it. Wasted vote, if you ask me. Yeah, that's according to Audley Phillip. Let's see what our YouTubers are saying. What would convince you to vote for a third party in Jamaica? Let us see. Better solutions offered, says McHugh. I would vote for a third party. If that party doesn't show up around election time, they are part of a national discussion. They are part of national discussions throughout the years. Great policies and personnel to achieve same, says Carleen Smith. Yeah. Sugar Peach is saying, I'm very confident with our government. Andrew Holness is doing a very good job. For the first time I see and hear progress. And only thing that can convince me of a third party is what? Incompetence? Sugar Peach? The sentence didn't finish there. Third party? Oh no, JLP is doing well as government, says Nadine Dockery. Donovan Phillips believes that third party is a waste of time. Yeah, Melissa Williams is saying, I would come home and vote if Mark stepped down. At least 10 years in existence, being seen by the public, says Leon Crooks. Yeah. Let me see. Sharon Miller is saying there is no third party. Soon there will be only one party loading. There is actually a third party registered. Yeah. Better solutions offered. Read that one. Truth is saying I would vote for them if the government is not performing. However, the JLP doing what it's supposed to. No third party around here. Beverly Samuda saying, no, sir, no more party but JLP, says Pam Pam. And let me see if I can get in a few more. All right. You guys seem opposed, man. A third party is going absolutely nowhere, says Sugar Peach. Joanna Mack saying, can't think of giving my vote to any other party right now. JLP is doing a great job. Leroy Blake is saying a third party would have to be established as a great organization that has the country's interests at heart, with a godly leader and sincere members that can represent the nation. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to swap monkey for MAGA dog, says Dorrit Luffman, and I think we all know what that means. I think we all are aware of that proverb, not going to swap monkey for black dog. Yeah? Or for MAGA dog, rather. Yeah, MAGA dog. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for public opinion. Can't give them a listening ear, you know. It's their democratic. It's the democratic, all a part of the democratic process. You know, give them a listening ear. Thank you guys so much for participating. The business report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay. This is an important announcement from Digicel. Digicel apologizes to our prepaid customers who've been unable to activate a data plan. Our technical team is working around the clock to restore service as soon as possible. In the meantime, all active prepaid customers can enjoy free data on us until service is fully restored. We truly appreciate your patience and will keep you updated. Stay tuned to social media at Digicel Jamaica for more details. That was an important announcement from Digicel.
Are you ready to pursue undergraduate studies but you are unsure of what to study and where? Choose the internationally accredited University of the Commonwealth Caribbean UCC. We offer on-campus and online undergraduate programs in marketing, business administration, information technology, HR management, finance management, and more. Apply now at ucc.edu.jm or call 906-3000 or visit any of our campuses island-wide. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Roby-Ann Williams. Sagicor Real Estate X Fund Limited has reported a standout half-year performance for 2025, posting net profit attributable to stockholders of $882.72 million. This reflects a 196% or $584.27 million increase over the same six-month period last year. Already, the company has achieved 93% of the 2024 full-year earnings, underscoring sustained momentum across its operations for this fiscal year. The results came despite a decline in travel to the U.S. and reflect the group's focus on strategic execution, cost discipline, and income diversification. Producers in the U.S. raised their prices at the fastest pace in more than 3 years last month as companies grappled with new costs from tariffs introduced by U.S. President Donald Trump. The Producer Price Index, which measures the selling price commanded by U.S. producers, jumped 0.9% from June to July after being flat the previous month. That's according to the Labor Department. That was a much bigger leap than the 0.2% forecast by analysts who predict that the higher wholesale prices will soon mean higher prices for U.S. consumers. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 31 cents to buy $1 US, 218 Jamaican dollars and 71 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 117 Jamaican dollars and 37 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Roby-Ann Williams. Good evening.
If a hurricane mash up your house tomorrow, would your insurance fully cover it? Many Jamaicans are underinsured and don't even know it. One hurricane and they could be paying millions out of pocket. BCIC's free property valuation tool is here to help everyone update their home's rebuilding cost. Plus, when you update your sum insured with BCIC, you'll get $5 million in free contents insurance and up to 12 months to pay. Visit bciconline.com.
KFC this summer, we are bucket together. Well, I vibe with your crew, yeah, we are stay true, the taste is so good. KFC, bucket on the ends with the real one. My island, we are world champion. All of we connect with the KFC. Jamrock celebrate with we. KFC, we are bucket together.
Let's bucket together with KFC. Enjoy a Family 9, Family 12, Party 15, or Party 21 bucket because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger-licking good. KFC.
Stay ahead in your career with UWI-STAR, the short-term advancement resource center. Our programs are designed to support your professional growth. Join our community of professionals and take the next step in your career. Visit our website, www.mona.uwi.edu/short-courses to learn more about the continuing professional education programs of UWI-STAR.
This Friday, August 15 at 11 a.m., History Meets Hard Work. The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information invites you to join us live on Nationwide 90 FM for the official release of the 2025 CXC examination results. Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morse Dixon, Minister of Education, will share the nation's performance and the story of how our students, teachers and parents have worked together to raise the bar in education. English pass rates now above pre-pandemic levels, mathematics results on a steady climb, and across the board, targeted interventions, stronger teaching, and extra learning support are delivering results. Be a part of the moment, celebrate the progress, and hear the plans to take Jamaican education even further. The 2025 CXC examination results press conference, Friday, August 15 at 11 a.m., live on Nationwide 90 FM, brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information.
Track and Field's global showpiece heads back to Asia for its 2025 staging. The World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan is live on Nationwide 90 FM. September 13 to 21.
Great start from Seville, who's got a little bit of a march on. No Lyles. Seville's going to win this. Brilliant ridge. He even has time to salute.
How will the Jamaicans stack up? The likes of Kishane, Oblique, Nikisha, Tina, Sherika, and Lavelle, all seeking podium spots.
Really good running on the near side too from Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton takes it there.
And the world will say goodbye to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
She brings the curtain down on her 18-year career. She goes back to where it all started.
And she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Live every moment from the World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan, September 13 to 21 live with a kind of coverage only Nationwide 90 FM provides.
You hear, say Nationwide back to school fair get pushed back to August 23?
What? Push back? Lord, man, me need ready to go Harmony Beach Park, you know.
Yeah, man, but them push it back to make it bigger and better. More vibes, more giveaways, and more things for everybody enjoy.
So tell me something, the book swap still go on?
Yes, man. Still bring the books the kids don't need, and them can swap it for the ones them can use. Plus, them are gonna have health screening, school supplies to buy, banks and location, and enough giveaways.
Alright, me like the sound of that. But anything else I want?
Then no must. Me here say them have domino tournament, scavenger hunt, and beer things for the whole family. So make sure you register.
Register? So how me have to go register now if you go in if it's free?
Because once you register, you automatically get entered to win the grand prize in the special raffle.
Me have to go call up some of my friends them cause we can't miss this. So tell me now, what the new date?
August 23, same place, Harmony Beach, Montego Bay, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair. Bigger, better, and full of vibes.
The NNN Back to School Fair is brought to you by KFC, Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited, Cozy Corner, Phoenix Vision Center, the Jamaica Public Service, the Jamaica Customs Agency, the Urban Development Corporation, Friends of the Mayor's Parlor, JTA Credit Union, Stewart's Automotive, J&J Pharmacy, Hospitan, Budget Car Rental, and Digicel Foundation.
This is the Race to 32, the battle for Jamaica House and the issues that matter. Your voice, your vote.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5, and we continue in the nation's business on this matter of manifestos, reactions, concerns, criticisms. Well, we're turning our attention to one of the promises made in the PNP manifesto, because they are saying in their manifesto dubbed Mission Jamaica Love that they will expand the Senate. Yeah? And they're going to do that. They're promising to advance reforms that will legally recognize Rastafari and the treaty rights of Maroons. Here's the opposition spokesperson on justice, Senator Donna Scott Motley.
We shall have legal protection of our ancestral spaces and our cultural practices. We will have full recognition of Rastafari as an indigenous religion with associated rights. And we will reach an accord with Maroon communities to give a modern interpretation to their ancestral treaty rights.
And that's the opposition spokesperson on justice, Donna Scott Motley. And as Ricardo indicated earlier, they're also proposing to expand the Senate to include the diaspora, persons with disabilities, and the Rastafarian community, and also the Maroon community. Senator Scott Motley says the PNP government would also improve beach access and further reform the country's ganja laws. Join us now to discuss further. We have the chief of the Moortown Maroons, that's Colonel Wallace Sterling, and we also have the president of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, that's the UNIA, Stephen Golden. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Let me start with you, Colonel Wallace.
Okay.
Colonel Wallace, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the PNP says it will legally recognize the treaty rights of Maroons. What specific legal recognition do you believe is still missing today, and what would the PNP's proposal actually address, and how it will address the gaps you've been calling for?
Let us start with 1962. what was said about the Maroon in the present constitution? Precious little, if any at all, as far as I am concerned. So that is the point that we need to start with, because this treaty goes all the way back to 1738-39. And we, at the Maroon Secretariat, WICAL, have written to the Constitutional Reform Committee about us not being included, and we are seeking that we need to be mentioned in the preamble to the Constitution, because whether we like it, yes or no, our foreparents, and it comes down to us today, has been at it since, well, way before 1738, before the treaty was signed. And 100 years after the signing of the treaty, we have the emancipation. And another 100 years after that, we had the first political party in Jamaica that was formed, right? Well, after two, that is there now. So what we are saying is, it is a travesty of justice not to have mentioned the Maroons in the Constitution. We have had meetings with the government, and we should have had follow-up meetings. It's just that it never happened. And we are saying, just like in other dominions, in the Caribbean and other places in the world, where the indigenous persons in those countries are recognized, we are seeking that same level of recognition, and we are saying that any understanding, and we are cognizant of the fact that a treaty that was signed well over 200 years ago might have, aspects of it that is probably not necessarily relevant to today's society. But let us sit down, have a discussion on these matters, and we have a proper codified relationship. Just like what it is done with the Kalinago persons down in other places, and how it is happening in Suriname, or it happened in New Zealand and places like those. These are the kind of things that we are looking forward to.
Well, the manifesto though speaks to recognizing treaty rights, but it does not specifically commit to amending the Constitution to include the Maroons in the preamble, as you're asking for. Is that omission a deal breaker for you, or would you accept recognition through legislation instead?
All right. You see, you can get the recognition through legislation, fine, but if at this point in time we are in the process of dealing with constitutional reform, this is a better time than none to include it. Whatsoever can come via legislation thereafter is something that we can work with, because we have to be sitting at the table with the government representatives to negotiate what is it that we want, and the government can say what they want and so forth. And we can deal with this in a very civilized manner and end up with something that is suitable to all the concerning parties.
Mm-hmm. Let me hear you, Stephen Golden. The manifesto promises to legally recognize Rastafarianism as part of constitutional and legislative reforms. From your perspective, what does legal recognition need to entail to be meaningful? And also, do you believe that it's achievable in one parliamentary term?
Good evening to you, Ricardo, and to your listeners. That's a good question. And it's something that I couldn't answer until the manifesto gave more details on how they plan to do that. Mm-hmm. The manifesto was filled with a lot of sound bites. Certainly my initial reaction is that, it indicates that there is some listening to the concerns that are coming. There was also mention of hair policy in schools, something I think the current government is also in the process of addressing. But certainly Rastafari as an indigenous religion, there is no doubt that it is an indigenous religion. It is a global thing now, but it is something that is indigenous and to Jamaica and was started here. I don't know what legislation is going to look like to enhance the government recognizing that. Certainly the Andrew Holness government has made some strides in terms of, the reparations that was paid to the Coral Gardens survivors. the declaration of lots at Pinnacle as heritage sites, and we expect that they are in the process of doing more. But certainly, indigenous religion and the respect that should be accorded to Rastafari is something that has been of concern in this society, and something that any of the parties that form the next government will need to do more to address.
Mm-hmm. Colonel, help me understand some things, and let me start by asking a few questions. One, do you accept the view that has been put forward by some of your fellow Maroons that the Maroons are sovereign within Jamaican territory?
Okay. What does the word sovereign mean?
Well, in the context that I understand them to be using it, meaning a separate independent entity and state within the Jamaican state.
Okay. Question is it possible for the Maroon communities to exist separately and independently of a government of Jamaica?
Well, I'm asking you, is that your contention?
Yeah, question, and I'm just asking the question. We have to sit down with the government, right? And when you talk about sovereignty, yes, the Maroons are sovereign in more ways than one, but in terms of setting up a separate government inside of Jamaica to say we're going to do things this way and that way, there's going to be some issues with that, right? So because when we talk about sovereignty, we need to talk about independent sovereignty, economic sovereignty. Then, in that sense, how can you be economically independent from what is taking place around you in Jamaica? That is one thing. So
I just want a simple answer. So the simple answer, no. You're saying no, not sovereign?
Well, in a sense we are, but in the other sense we are just not.
No, but explain to me then what does sovereign means, because I think the clarity is important.
Yeah, because if you're going to be sovereign, you have your own rights to do what you want, to determine for yourself what it is that suits you best, even if it turned out to be disastrous. But at the time you make your decision based upon the inherent right that you have. Now, my thing is that from the beginning, the treaty was not intended for the Maroons to be totally independent of the government of Jamaica. Now, we have grown, we have seen many things, and we can basically pull ourselves through many things economically without relying on the government. But at the same time, we have to sit down and have serious discussion as to what is it that we think we want in going forward. It is easy to talk about anything that you want to talk about. That is easy, but how do you achieve the things is another part of the story.
All right. So okay. So then let me ask you, because I was trying to get to another question, because I heard you talk about the Maroons being indigenous and how important that is, that recognition. And I think you said the preamble of the Constitution is where you thought it was most appropriate. There are some, and I'm sure you've heard the argument, who say no to that, and they cite, and you can help me with the history here, and so too Stephen Golding, they cite what they say is the historical practice that the Maroons rounded up and captured our ancestors, or the ancestors of the vast majority of Jamaicans, and handed them back over into bondage to the British, and in some instances killed them. And therefore, that vexed issue should exclude Maroons from this business of sitting in the Jamaican Senate.
Let me
yes,
jump
please.
in there, Ricardo.
Yes.
But why is it that the people who choose to give that particular side of the history do not accept the fact also that non-Maroons were used in the hunting of Maroons before the treaty was signed? We had what was called black shots, right? Long before, remember, the Maroons fought a war for over a century before a treaty was signed,
Yes.
And enslaved Africans were even brought as far as from the Mosquito Coast in Central America, employed by British forces as military force against the Maroons. So, yes, we know the history, but we cannot tell the history skewed and without giving a fulsome view of it. Now, to back up a second to your issue of sovereignty amongst the Maroons.
Yes.
I don't understand the confusion about it. Is it the English word that is fooling us? The sovereignty of the Maroons is tied to the issue of their land and to the treaty. When the treaty was written in 1738, it granted them certain sovereign rights within that geographical boundary that was designated as Maroon territory. It also said that they could not be tried for certain crimes outside of that Maroon territory, meaning that that discussion had to be had between the governor.
And I want you to help my listeners, Stephen. So for those crimes, what are some of those crimes?
But it's there. The treaty is there.
But you have to remember, most Jamaicans haven't read it, Stephen.
But I am telling you, most Jamaicans who want to speak on this and want to know about it must go and read it.
All right.
Right? The Second Maroon War that began in 1795 began because of a violation of that treaty when two Maroons were accused of stealing pigs on the western side of the island and were flogged by the colonial authorities. That flogging was a violation of the treaty that said that any crime they were accused of, it had to be adjudicated within Maroon territory and by the Maroon colonels, right? So now when people are talking, but let's not forget, Maroons are Jamaicans too.
Yes.
They use a Jamaican passport. They have certain rights within their territories that regards taxes and so forth. But the government still provides roads into those communities and builds schools.
Yes.
Right? What Colonel is saying that in 1962 and going forward, and this is something that perhaps the People's National Party is picking up in their election promises to address, is the fact that our legislators who wrote the first constitution completely ignored this history. And this is a serious part of our history as Africans who were brought here enslaved and who fought for our liberation. And so it was a grave mistake on the part of the 1962 crafters of the Constitution. And now in the 21st century, when we're talking about constitutional reform to remove the British monarch as our head of state, it would be remiss of us not to address and correct some of the grave mistakes that were made 63 years ago.
Hear you.
Colonel Wallace, you wanted to come in.
No, I was just going to say that, the only crime that could be committed in a Maroon community that was supposed to be tried by the government was that of murder. And even in those instances, it is the community folks, the leadership of the community has to decide whether the case was murder or justifiable homicide or whatever it is. So that was the only thing in the treaty that says that, any Maroon could be tried outside of the community for any crime that it would have committed.
Yes. And those things can be upgraded.
Yes.
And legislators need to talk about those things. And we have a number of blueprints we can use. We have the First Nations. We have the Indian nations in America where within their land boundaries they govern, they dictate, they deal with disputes and crimes. But if those very members commit crimes outside of those sovereign boundaries, then they are held accountable to the government of the state that they commit those crimes in. That's not something difficult that we need to be tripping about. People talking about, well, what does sovereignty mean? But didn't these people do this to Paul Bogle? And listen, that sort of petty thinking really depreciates the history our ancestors went through in terms of struggle. We must remember also, that in signing the treaty, the Maroons were co-opted into the British military. This is why their heads were given the military rank of colonel.
All right, hold it for me, Stephen. Getting a history lesson, listeners, on this matter of Maroon history and how they should be incorporated into the Jamaican state in the 21st century. I want to pick up after the break. I'm just going to take a time signal. Stephen Golding, Colonel Wallace Sterling. Hold it for me.
Truth is, you can live life to the fullest with HIV. This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The time is...
It's 7 o'clock. Back with you, we have Chief of the Moortown Maroons, Colonel Wallace Sterling, and President of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA, Stephen Golding. The People's National Party is proposing to recognize Maroon rights, update the treaty, and also to expand the Senate to include members of the diaspora, persons with disability, the Rastafari, and also the Maroon communities. Before the break, Stephen, you talked about how the Maroons were incorporated into the British Army and how they got those military titles. There's another argument I want you to respond to, which says that that treaty, the treaty that is now in question, was made with the British colonial government, right, and not with the sovereign state of Jamaica as it is now, exists since 1962. And therefore, this government, this state, has no legal obligation to recognize that treaty. Want to hear you both on that.
Well, isn't the King of Britain still our head of state? So what is the question?
Okay, so but still made with another government that was independent or outside of the independent Jamaica that we now live in.
Jamaica has had an assembly since the 1600s. We got suffrage in 1944. Colored people were allowed to vote if they paid the required property tax from 1830 something, 1834. The first black man entered the legislature in 1899, full-blooded Negro. This term that we use, independent, meaning because our financial legislations and so forth are done with it. Listen, man, the King of Britain is still our head of state. Our parliamentarians still say a prayer and an oath to him. They still walk around with this ridiculous mace that they put in the parliament, and if somebody grab it and run outside, all legalities are thrown out of the door. That mace represents his crown. So what exactly is this question about independent Jamaica? We are not independent yet. We are talking about constitutional reform and getting rid of those last vestiges. And this is exactly why this issue of the treaty needs to be addressed right now going forward. But for us to draw these innuendos as if what our ancestors did, fought for, and signed in blood 200-300 years ago don't have no meaning now because we unfurl the black, gold, and green in 1962. It is disrespect to the very reason that we exist, which is the struggles of those ancestors who went before us, who lived, died, fought, and died so that we could live today. So who is asking us whether we should recognize the struggle of our ancestors or not, based on what legislation?
Hear you. Colonel?
Well, it's funny that, somebody should say, it was with the colonial governor. But the question is then if you accept independence, right, then you are basically saying that the Maroons then are still subject directly to the monarchy. Because since they never tell you that they wanted any independence from Britain, what makes you come now and ask the question about, the whole fact that the treaty wasn't mentioned in the Constitution? And this very same matter was mentioned in the British Parliament when we were negotiating for independence from Britain.
Yes, brought up by a British MP.
Yes.
And ignored by the Jamaican MPs. And that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
It brings a broader question now, Stephen Golding. Just looking at what the PNP is proposing in their manifesto, I have to ask you the question. Do you think that there is a fair understanding of the legal weight of the Maroon Treaty rights, or are they using the language without grasping its full meaning?
I think the PNP are doing what opposition parties do when they are out of power and are attempting to get power. And that is that they will say and pander to whatever they believe the electorate will respond to and give their vote towards them for. It's a shame that is the situation that we're in, but we have on record history on both sides of the political divide of promises made and promises not kept. And that is why my initial comment was it appears that they are listening, because if they weren't listening, they wouldn't have including something like that in the manifesto. They would not have realized that something like that would draw the kind of attention, which is what they want, right? But I also want to make it clear that you know, it's unfortunate that we have a political system that limits the choice and the voice of the people, you know, and therefore this first past the post thing means that whatever policies they are putting out, the Jamaican people have only one vote. So in the one vote that we make for our MP, we are voting for policy, party, prime minister, and everything, which is why I raised the issue of how do they plan to expand the Senate to incorporate these people. Are they going to be appointed, or are they listening keenly enough? Because putting Maroons in the Senate is something I have long advocated for, but I've also advocated for the right for the people to elect their senators, and I don't hear that language coming from their manifesto.
Final word to you, Colonel.
Well, you know, for me, it's food for thought. We as Maroon have had discussion with the present government through, the Maroon Secretariat, and we have also had discussion with the opposition through the Maroon Secretariat as well. And that discussion that actually include the Rastafari. So whatever it is that they choose to put in the manifesto, to me, it seems as if they were listening to what we were saying. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I want to throw out anything. Let us see what will come of it. Because one thing for sure, as Maroon, we are not going to stop at, asking for what we want and putting forward, using every opportunity to make sure that we get what we want. The things that I am discussing now and we are discussing now, I don't want my grandchildren to come and have to discuss that. They must have a clear path ahead of them as to the relationship between the government of Jamaica and the Maroons, with no ambiguity involved. And that is what we want to have happen.
Stephen Golding, just before you go, I want to hear you on this quick one. The PNP is also proposing further ganja law reform and to improve beach access from a UNIA and a Rastafari perspective. What are the most urgent reforms that are needed on these two accords?
The legislation regarding the decriminalization of ganja and encouraging the cultivation of medical marijuana was not done taking into consideration the Jamaican history and culture around marijuana, right, or ganja as we call it in Jamaica. And in fact, they simply used a schematic that was developed by other first world countries without considering what was coming from the belly of the people. And so legislation that requires farmers to spend $2-5 million to put in a fence before they can even get a license was ridiculous. It lacked vision. It lacked foresight. If the government is serious about ganja reform and putting Jamaica on the map in terms of the cannabis industry, then we have to have legislation that not only complements the culture but empowers the people, and it needs a little bit more centralization in terms of the processing of ganja. Jamaican farmers have been planting ganja for eons, right? And past governments have allowed foreign entities to come in here to steal our seeds, to steal our genetics. They're all over the world now, and simply creating legislation that allows the rich, wealthy oligarchs now to benefit from cannabis instead of encouraging the farmers to plant it and grow in a certain way, to have a central processing place where the government can begin to make a mark for Jamaica in terms of classifying different levels and grades of cannabis, what's good for what, having the proper research institutions and laboratories to look into the depths of medicinal cannabis. That's where we need to go. Not this idea that government must divest itself of business and allow the oligarchs to run everything. The cannabis industry needs to be treated as an incubated situation that the government provides support and guidance to the farmers and to the Jamaican people in developing it in a way that will put us back on the map, not just as advocates, but as producers and as people who are developing things out of cannabis that are for the benefit of our society. It shouldn't be Colorado. It shouldn't be Uruguay. They don't even grow marijuana in Uruguay. And it certainly shouldn't be Israel, who is at the top of the game right now.
Stephen Golden is the president of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, that's UNIA. And we also had Colonel Wallace Sterling. He's the chief of the Moortown Maroons. Thank you as always, gentlemen. Interesting
And I appreciate the history lesson, Stephen. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
11 minutes after 7. We're going to take your calls now. 630-9371 to 618-8255. What's on your mind?
The NHT is lending up to $12 million for homes priced at $14 million or less, making home ownership more accessible for Jamaicans. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 12 minutes after 7.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT, drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels 2 promotion, April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Restaurant, Heineken, True Milk, Rex, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst Juice Concentrate. Only at Megamart, locations island-wide. Megamart, best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
This Friday, August 15 at 11 a.m., History Meets Hard Work. The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information invites you to join us live on Nationwide 90 FM for the official release of the 2025 CXC examination results. Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morse Dixon, Minister of Education, will share the nation's performance and the story of how our students, teachers and parents have worked together to raise the bar in education. English pass rates now above pre-pandemic levels, mathematics results on a steady climb, and across the board, targeted interventions, stronger teaching, and extra learning support are delivering results. Be a part of the moment, celebrate the progress, and hear the plans to take Jamaican education even further. The 2025 CXC examination results press conference, Friday, August 15 at 11 a.m., live on Nationwide 90 FM, brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information.
We're taking your calls now. You're tuned into Nationwide at 5. It's 14 minutes after 7, and Chris is up first tonight. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Siobhan.
It's Ricardo.
It's Ricardo.
Sorry, man. Boy, I've been in and out with Nationwide. We had some challenges, as Papa Nana said, in same time here. But, you know, I must tell you, Siobhan.
It's Ricardo.
Ricardo, sorry. Sorry, boss. Because, you know, so if you call a man Mr. and him a doctor, him feel upset. You understand? But look here. I listened and I heard from the PMP manifesto that every Jamaican must have a house. It is not possible. Every family in Jamaica is supposed to own a house. Every adult Jamaican will own a house. It's not necessary. So when you're drilling into these things, we have to see. I heard Troy this morning on Nationwide with Cliff Hughes. I think he was the second caller. And I'm begging Mr. Hughes. I think he said he sells on the street brief, panty, underwear generally. I asked Cliff Hughes to take Troy find Troy, get Troy number. Because when Troy drill down into some things, Mr. You would say, you box me left, you box me right, and you kick me. Because Dr. Dayton Campbell, who was in Northwest St. Ann, born in a place named Bamboo, close to Lilyfield, there was a mud hole that for years couldn't be fixed, neither by Arnold Bertram, who is from Northwest St. Ann, Burchell Whiteman, who is from Clarendon but operated in Northwest St. Ann for a while, and then Dayton come on to 2 terms. And Crystal Lee came and she did a patch of work within her first term. She's a first term MP in Northwest St. Ann. And she beat Dayton by 2,000 voters, as Troy said. And Dayton now run. He was running down into North Trelawney because he think it was safe. And he never get there because my friend Dennis Meadows, he was my personal friend. I don't know if but I know he blocked me on his Facebook. But he operated, hello?
We're listening.
Right. He made certain comments and he said it was the vodka make him make the comment. Then he tell the scammer them to chop. And they carry a man. And you know, I listen to Troy, and when I hear Troy say Dayton Campbell is not supposed to be Dayton Campbell, it's Dayton Scramble or Gamble, because I discovered the PNP, all what they are doing is playing musical chairs. Damien run from over to Outer East to Portland, from Portland to St. Catherine. This other young lady run from St. James, want to back up Crystal Lee up here. This other one run from East Kingston, want to back up my good MP, Xavier Main. And here comes the people running around. Mr. Man run from Westmoreland, where he always were born and grow, I believe. That's Wickham McNeil. So they are scrambling. They are playing musical chair. We don't want nobody to play musical chair with the Jamaica people. The Jamaica people deserve better. And although the JLP manifesto is not out yet, and they don't think they have to force and run themselves to do an AI-generated paper. The work that they have done before, the Bible says you only remember by what you have done. And we remember Finsack, we remember Paul Chen Young, we remember Crawford, what's his name? That man, Century National, I think it's Crawford was his name. And we remember everything when the police was always getting wage freeze after wage freeze. And some of the persons running now is Mr. McGregor was a part of the team that I sat with as a whole police when Mr. McGregor used to sign the wage contract and say 0. We're going to put something on the allowance. He was at the Police Federation till the Police Officers Association. And police, we have pandemic and we have all kind of things happen, and no public sector worker lost their job. We were still enjoying our current salary. All I want the people to do, because I know some bad mind people inside or some part of the public sector, because I tell you, Bruce Golding, he wasn't so vindictive. So even when he won by that one seat, he kept a number of public servants in their role. But then pulling up the screw like our train is running from Tobolski down to Discovery Bay.
I think Bruce Golding won. I think Bruce Golding won by 3 seats.
By 3 seats,
right.
Yes.
Wait,
so they're pulling.
But appreciate the call, though. Papa Nana.
Yes, sir. Good evening to you both.
Good evening to you, my friend. How are you?
I'm not bad at all. And let me tell you something. I know the time is short and you want to get in as much call as it should. But listen, you know that I think that you have a lot of puppets in the PNP.
There's a lot of puppets in the PNP. Why do you say that?
Yes, all you have to do is just pull a string and they start to dance. Listen, how could you come and tell me that you want to become the leader of this country when you tell me if I am hearing good, that you don't even own a house in this country. Mr. Mark Golding said that not he don't own a house, something like that, in this country. And you went abroad and you tried to destabilize Jamaica in such a way that you want to preside it over the ashes. You tell me what kind of leader you want to become of this country. And how could you say Jamaica love when you went abroad and helped to destabilize the country that you want to lead? Tell me.
When did he do that?
Hello?
When did he do that?
When did he say that?
Is when... What did you ask me a while ago?
You said he went abroad and tried to destabilize Jamaica. When did he do that?
Yes, so he didn't went there and get up some people to march about Jamaica, how Jamaica is down and mash up and all kind of something.
No.
He didn't do it?
No. I don't know that Mr. Golding had anything to do with that. That was my understanding.
Mr. Golding didn't lead a delegation go there and talk about the condition that Jamaica is in and how it is mashed up.
No,
so how it comes down, you want to preside over it.
That's not my understanding. I know there was a demonstration, but I don't recall Mr. Golding leading that demonstration. No, I don't recall that.
Oh, so he was a part of it then?
I mean, if you're suggesting he supported it, that's a different thing. But I don't recall him leading anything.
So what's the difference between leading a thing and supporting it?
Oh, that's a totally different thing.
Big difference.
Big difference. But I don't know that he supported it either. I'm just saying I definitely don't recall him leading anything.
Oh, and he didn't have anything bad to say about Jamaica when he went away. Well,
I remember when he was it Connecticut, I think he was, and he said that the media was bought and that the People's National Party was having a hard time. I understood him to be saying having a hard time, and that the media was bought, and so they were up against it. That I remember him saying internationally, but I don't recall any other comments.
You know, there is some things that I hear nationwide. Anyway, they are supposed to know what they are doing. I hear you carry on a gentleman by the name of Richard.
Desmond Richards. Mm-hmm.
Desmond Richards. And let me tell you something.
Yes.
Did you know that if it was in the manifesto of the PNP that they wanted that Dan to go to Parliament, sit in Parliament or the Senate, Richard would agree with it?
No, why would you?
No, but I would accept that. And there are aspects of the manifesto
why you say that?
Also accept. No.
Listen to me. Mr. Richard would have said that. Listen, you know, a man told me that Mr. Richard, we don't understand the reason why he went to Nationwide. Because let's face it, the PNP has not contributed not even $1 to Nationwide seeing on the air. And every time that they get a free access, they go. And that is why Richard went there.
All right, two things, Papa Nana.
That is why he went there to showcase the PNP.
Two things, Papa Nana, two things. First, you must be able, you can reject the views and you can disagree with the views, but you must be able to listen to opposing views. That's the first thing. The second thing, on the matter of PNP spending money on Nationwide, and, you do understand, though, Papa Nana, that is not the metric by which we use to do our jobs, right?
No, I understand, but you know what a gentleman said to me?
What's that?
Today when he was telling me that Nationwide was the person who informed such people that the tape was tailored. And I said to him, how comes you know that Nationwide was the first person who said that the tape with Dr. Tufton was tailored? And you say you don't listen to Nationwide. He said,
but it's also not true. So it's also not true that we were the first to say that. I understand that tape was played elsewhere. I think we played it after. And if anybody who clearly listens to it will realize it's two different recordings.
Yeah, and when I said to the man, how comes you say you don't listen to Nationwide, but yes, still you can tell me that Nationwide said so and so. He told me that is not them calling Nationwide more than the ordinary. It's Mr. Hughes looking them company. That's what he said, right? And I asked him if he don't have a feeling that it's because it's free why no, he said it's because they don't have to pay no money. Why he will go on Nationwide or listen to what Nationwide said.
No,
so what's the difference?
The advertising and the decisions that the People's National Party makes about advertising is completely separate from the job we do as journalists. That's different.
Anyway, I'm going to give somebody else a chance, but I think it would be a grand waste of time to put in the PNP over this government. I think I don't know. I don't know what Jamaica would be like. To be honest to you, I would never like to live to see what Jamaica would be on if the PNP was supposed to win this election. To be honest to you, I don't know.
All right. I hear you, Papa Nana. Thanks for the call. Troy. This is Troy from This Morning.
Yeah, big up yourself in a general.
Well, let me first of all say, Troy, and I made a tweet about it. I was very, very impressed. Well, first of all, you called up Sanjay and Siobhan last night. And then I heard you this morning with Cliff. I was very, very impressed, my brother. I appreciate your insights, the way you articulate and distill the issues. Very, very impressed. And you must
and it's making the rounds also.
You must call more often, my brother. Yes. Very impressed.
It's a humbling thing after love, because we don't know the role. We don't really do them things and forget praises, but we have to express ourselves.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, manners and respect. All right, we have a go on now. A couple of things. You see the man touch Pantanga Eastern Westmoreland. Brethren, here where the people them down there, I think now that the loyalist thing. And them I say, Dayton Campbell I get a big position in the PNP if they win. Remember, say PJ Patterson was our MP from 1993 in Obrechi. PJ Patterson was the Prime Minister. Dayton Campbell can't get higher than Prime Minister, you know.
Yes.
And look on the level of development down in Westmoreland, my general.
You're talking about that. I think I saw the report in the Gleaner that was saying that Mark Golding said that the 3 MPs, if they win Westmoreland, they'd get ministerial posts or something like that. Yes, I think I saw that. Yes.
Before that, the general, watch the right, Brecci. You see, after Bucky lose, the seat down there.
Yeah.
The man them call it Itchman, because Mr. Itchman are the general for the PNP down there, you know.
Oh.
The man them have a little thing where they might try to find some youth, and they have some good youth, Glenville Hall, and a youth named Gardner teacher, a teacher youth. And the youth them, they work the space. And the man them dispose of them and import Mr. Scramble. And say, the leader say a Scramble for running.
Who's Scramble? Who's Scramble?
Oh, sorry, my boss. Yeah, Dayton. But me call him Scramble.
I didn't know who you were talking
about. Leave where him come from, Eastern car. You could have never lived in a St. Anne and know the struggles and run left it.
Oh, so you call him Scramble because he scrambled from St. Anne.
Then also the thing said general.
Oh, I see.
Now watch this now, my father. The people them are talk about big ministry position. When PJ was the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And the place never look after.
Yeah, I did find it strange, Troy, and I saw it, and not just Mr. Patterson being Prime Minister, but if I recall correctly, the parish also had an agriculture minister, a water minister, a housing minister.
Then
that was Carl Blythe in Central Westmoreland.
Yeah, I did find the promise very.
And don't forget the tourism minister.
And the tourism minister, exactly. Yes.
That me I got for sure the people them say the man them a come with some scamming energy to them here. So Westmoreland, like them things everybody in Westmoreland deal with scamming. You can't tell me say them money I go do where Carl Blythe never do, and where Roger Clark them never do, and where DJ never do, and them man they was big in a PNP. I tell you about you gotta give them position for try trick the people, move on from that. You see this manifesto thing, I read manifesto too, you know. I want to learn, you know. The manifesto is not an end in itself. The manifesto is merely a means to an end. Now, there's absolutely no way you can judge the JLP in the same way you can judge the PNP, because the JLP has been in government. So if all the JLP did was prepare a nice manifesto for the country and shove it out and say, that's what I got to do. Then when I get an F, the JLP must talk about what them do, and we must judge them on what them do. So all this talk about want to food no manifesto. We have to judge JLP on what them do. And yes, we need to hear what them are going to do too. But we have to assess them performance because they are the incumbent. Mm-hmm. The PNP have been out of governance for 9 years. Mm. They need to come now with some credible, well-thought-out solutions to the real issues that affect Jamaica.
So you're saying that
two different assessments we are dealing with.
So in the case of the JLP, you have seen them perform, so you have to judge them on what them do already. And in the case of the PNP, you have to judge them on what them promising to do.
Right. Then that are the key.
Okay, I see.
70% of our assessment at JLP have to be based on performance. 100% of our assessment at PNP have to be based on where them are project.
So you're saying then, Troy, that the JLP is pushing their achievements booklet. You're saying that they should focus heavily on that.
Then them not, you know one thing, the JLP have to get beaten for them wait too long for show the people them the work or them not them a do. Them should have do this from last year. Them should have on the airwaves where Mark Golding said them buy out. Them should have used the media where Mark Golding said them buy out. And I make sure say every Jamaican, every nook, every cranny, every picnic, every granny know the work will go on. They must get beaten for that. Because you cannot do so much work and deal with governance and make politics beat you.
What constituency are you in, Troy?
East, man, down in the West, man.
East, West. East and West, man.
I can tell you what's going on from the ground, my general.
So,
Bridget, when you return to Darlington Road fixed down at Westmoreland, you come like, Bridget, them road there, people just give up on. And when the man them deal with them road there, you know, say, a development, retreat, down a retreat, a place near Maximum down at East. Them place that nobody not look on. And the man them a deal with.
What's the mood like down in Eastern Westmoreland? Because we know, and as you have discussed before, it's a strong or traditionally a strong PNP area. What's Daniel Lawrence's chance of retaining that seat come September 3?
Well, I want to tell you this now, my brother. The PNP base is mobilized because a whole heap of things are going down there. I'm not going to say certain things, but there are a whole heap of efforts to make people feel their pockets get a little heavier and feel them products get more fertilizer. So, given the effort of that, then you're going to have to put in a little extra effort. But if the people have used them brain and vote on performance, there should be no question. So it's 50-50.
So you think he's been a good MP?
I think he has done more in a short time than many have done. Bucky did it for about 14 years, my brethren.
That's Luther McKinnon.
Yeah, what a man can do in a 4 year, 5 year, what next man never do in a 14, or what PJ never do while he was Prime Minister. We always grade them money so hard.
You think people are grading the JLP harder?
Then you live in Jamaica and you see the development, St. Thomas, the road, Center Bill. You can go out for free. But be Damian Crawford, guys, are you to me listen to and look up to, but him start low because he might make some statement when I write. The Prime Minister say art free, and he might tell the people them, but say them can get free scholarship when the PNP come in to go art. What kind of man is that, an art free for everybody? I'll let you have 65-year-old, you can go art.
How old are you, Troy?
43, man.
43.
General, with the media, the fourth estate have a duty to the public. You have people who are run, and them talk about Paula Llewellyn for go yard. Them talk about Paula Llewellyn for go do this and go do that. You have people who are run, which say that they want to get wicked from people. the media need to make the people them in Jamaica know where some of them money at their pan. When man like Warmington cause him bad word, we burn him out too. Cause the little youth them a come up, them need to see politicians in a different light. Some of them are traitor. Them go on stage every minute a trace people. Like them a girl picnic. Sorry about that. But the media need to call out them and expose them because we want Jamaica build up with good, intelligent, respectful leaders in the House of Parliament. Not some rare.
Hear you, Troy. Hear you.
Why not?
Appreciate the call.
Right.
630-9371-24618-8255. Cleveland.
Yes, Mr. Ricardo.
How are you, sir?
Sunday.
How you doing, Cleveland?
I am giving thanks. My sons. You read something from the manifesto, the PMP manifesto, about stagnant wages?
Yes. I recall them saying that was part of the problem the country was facing, yes.
Yeah. They are talking about stagnant wages. We're having stagnant wages now from 2016. Is that is happening?
Certainly not the public sector.
Yeah.
Not at all. And they are private people too.
Well, true, yes. Because
all of Jamaica.
They have to
have
make
stagnant
increases to
wages
match.
now. That is something enough for them plan.
Well, they're saying the exact thing is that real incomes have not kept pace with the cost of living. That's in a sense.
Oh, come on. But they know about that. I worked with them for 39, 40 years. And I lived through this wage freeze for how much year? I'll give 6,000 for old pan film how long for about a year. Some try to change it from the day them get it, and so maybe I'll lose them money because them people come up with fixes plans and take them ban and then lose it. Right? The pimpy people that don't know nothing about to pay people properly. They don't know nothing, and the unions them what they have, because most of the union them is attached to the PMP union, to the PMP party. So they go there and take 1%, 2%. And some tell you a lot of cock-a-bull story. And you're satisfied with it, you have to just satisfy with it. It's when you come home now as a pension and now you realize that you wasn't getting any pay. So it's been interested for them. It's really interesting to hear them talking about stagnant wages. They shouldn't be doing that. Because that's a part of them DNA. You see. Anyhow, I was enjoying the argument with Golden and the other man.
Yes, I enjoyed it myself, yes.
A nice history lesson.
Yes, it's a lot of things for us to learn. 3/4 of Jamaica don't know some of them.
Absolutely.
Things they're talking about.
And school not teach which. School not help at all.
Definitely not.
You see. But I don't know what we can do for them. Because if you know you go give them one thing, you have to go pay them only for money.
It also shows though, Cleveland, that you're looking at the PNP's manifesto. It's grand ideas that is just placed there, but when you think beyond what they have put on paper, there's much more to discuss.
Yes.
You know,
all them something where they say, cost 1 billion and 1 million and what have you. That is just a catch vote, you know. You see? And they're going to do the same thing when they're going right back to when they was in power and Manley they were in power. It sound that way. Some of what they put on paper there.
I've said last night, I don't know if you heard me last night, Cleveland, but I've said that we've reached that point in our history where we really have to talk about the cost for everything. And Nigel Clark, I think, would have schooled us so well. So back in the days when political parties would put forward a manifesto, we wouldn't be asking about the spending, what's the cost?
Not at all.
But now we have to ask about it, and especially when they come to talk about discretionary spending. The finance minister spoke about it today. There's no discretionary spending. We have to be careful of that. So I think it is necessary for us now to hear from the PNP, how is it that they're going to fund this grand proposals, that this grand proposal they're putting forward?
Some people must demand some argument from them
before
they go out and put their eggs by them head. Because them have good general way. They must be careful.
Put them eggs behind them head.
Because we lived through it already with them, and we're not supposed to get back into that.
Yes. All right, Cleveland.
Okay.
Someone just sent me a thread on Twitter. I'm going to read it. The person says, I'm glad I went to the PNP's manifesto launch. I got to see some of the senior PNP leadership, and I really enjoyed watching the camaraderie among the comrades. Saw some familiar faces too. However, the event brought me to the conclusion that the party does not inspire me. They revealed their candidates, but the speech Vaz, I suppose he means Daryl Vaz, gave at the JLP rally last Sunday kept replaying in my head. I could not see a government that they could form that would rival the JLP. I valued some of the ideas they raised in their manifesto, but I could not see the party forming a government to tackle these issues. I kept thinking that their ideas are great, but I'd prefer Andrew and JLP to do the implementation. So this is a voter who just happened to go to the PNP manifesto launch. It seems he went on his own volition, and that was his feedback.
You know, Ricardo, I was having a conversation yesterday with someone who's in his early 20s, and he said to me he's not voting. So I asked why. He said, boy, I don't see which of the two to vote for. And then after that, he said to me, but you know, the country in such a bad state, you know, and he said, I'm quoting him exactly what he said.
Yes.
He said, Andrew not going too bad. So I then said to him, if you are of that belief and that conviction that Andrew not going too bad, and then he said he would have given him a vote. I said, why not go out and vote? And he said to me, because Andrew will win. And it took me back to a discussion that we had a couple of weeks ago, Ricardo, where I said to you, the base of the PNP is energized, and they are going to go out and vote. The JLP largely depends on the uncommitted voters who are convinced, it seems, some of them, that Andrew is doing a good job, but they're not compelled to go out and vote. So how will that matchup be then on election night when you have an energized PNP base going out to vote, and the JLP base, of course, is energized, will vote, will base against base? How will that match up?
But I'll tell you something, I don't think it's solely going to be base against base.
Of course not.
And there's a part that an unknown variable for me.
Yes.
Because like you, I mean, a lot of the young people are saying to me that, you know, they think they're going to stick with this government. But what I don't, and I probably should start asking everybody who says that, are you registered to vote?
Right.
That is the unknown variable. You know, are you registered to vote? So I think we'll have to see. Carl.
Evening.
How are you?
Sanjay, how are you, Ricardo?
I am all right. How are you?
Me all right, man. Ricardo, me da look for your Sunday night, man, but too much rice throwing a half a tree.
Me did behind the stage.
Oh, can me go look for you?
Me see Wally, down on Georgie there 5 from me.
Yeah, 4
Me see what me mean Wally, but any listeners, any 5 listeners, but me never see.
Yeah, man. Anyhow, you remember one local government election they call and PNP they win and then take out the piece of green flag of Montego. You remember that story there?
Yes, I remember the story, yes. I think it was a swearing in of the
all right.
Or a council.
I take you and never put me topics in before me discuss them. I heard Nikhil Philip say the Prime Minister should have shame talking about bus business and give 2 months break to some of the people
students,
the school kids go to school.
Yes.
Nikhil, what you should be ashamed of is that you have a man, a white man, a lead you, when not even like the Jamaica flag. Babsy Grange was showing the color of the Jamaica flag in half a tree Sunday evening. That's what you should be ashamed of, Nikhil.
Why is it Mr. Golding don't like the Jamaica flag?
Then Ricardo, if the Jamaica flag Did you see Mr. Golding quest security guard shirt?
But I already such a laugh. But I already said to you, Carl, and I proved to you. Mr. Golding is not a British citizen as far as I am concerned and aware, Carl. But I also pointed out to you that there was green on the shirt. Remember me showing you?
Anyhow, that's not the Jamaica color.
Oh, all right, fine. Mm-hmm.
Right. Babsy Green show you in halfway through Sunday night. She hold it up.
Okay.
And if you want to represent a country where you not even can wear a shirt with your Jamaica color, that's what Nickel should be ashamed of.
I see. Next point.
Nickel, you said you're brighter than Darrell Valls. Nickel, if you was in America, you couldn't get a work on a garbage truck as one subject you have.
Why do you keep saying that? Where do you get that from?
One subject, Nickel Philip.
Where you get that from?
Go and check it.
What problem if you check it?
Ricardo, Nickel Philip have one subject that couldn't give him a work on a garbage.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Leave that.
You're right. I don't know about that.
Anyhow, I want to come back to you with the piece of paper where at the Pegasus Hotel Tuesday evening.
The 58-page manifesto of PNP?
In a hit, them say, them top the debt. That is a lie from the pit of hell.
That they said what? They did what to the debt?
Said them top the debt. That the debt couldn't balloon any further.
Oh, cap.
Cap the debt.
Yes.
That is a lie from the pit of hell.
Oh, okay.
Go and check it for yourself. That is a lie. See, the two brightest man, according to Nickel, what Nickel said about Darrell Valls and Damian Crawford, because him say him even brighter than the Prime Minister. There's so much spelling mistake making of them manifesto. We was Damian
Yes, Crawford. I have been meaning to mention that. I thought that was in poor form, PNP. Really poor form. Was that document proofread at all? It gave, and it's not just the spelling errors. The document is almost unreadable. You really have to zoom in. Commendations to them for making it available in an audio form that you can listen to, because it really is hard to read, and then whole heap of errors. At one point, we'd have to push on through it, because you'll have one page with all 4 errors,
I think one page I may look at already have 5.
That wasn't good at all.
27, one of those pages.
That wasn't good, and especially because you're rushing out to put it out first. You'd expect that you take the time to make sure it's proper.
Ricardo, say something good, sensible tonight. Now, you're a brilliant boy.
No, I'm just saying, I read it, and there are a lot of errors. There really are a lot of errors.
Ricardo, 4 years now, PNP Outer Road campaign, and then say they have their manifesto, and then say they now release it until election call.
All right, let me talk about the politics. You know what going on at Clarendon? No, still.
CM1, PNP are collect back. Oh, everything else covered.
Oh, just one?
The same one we didn't have, same one will remain.
Which one they have again? Oh, Cousins, Lothan Cousins.
Same one will return. Nothing else.
So Warren Newby is going to do it?
Warren Newby, all right.
Oh, yeah?
Warren Newby, I finalize up everything I know for the Prime Minister. Give a good step through.
Okay. I see. All right.
Anyhow, we want to go back to we want to give other people.
Yeah, man. Give somebody else a chance now.
But Ricardo.
Yes.
I heard the Minister of Education talking this evening. It's a burning disgrace for a government in waiting can come up with a piece of garbage like that. Hold on, Ricardo. I'm going to let you go. And Sanjay. Remember when the local government election did a run? The British citizen tell me say he move up the threshold.
Kyle, why you keep calling Mr. Golding a British citizen?
Then Ricardo, when the news, Ricardo, you make me have to repeat myself all the while. Is when the newspaper back up the British citizen on Sunday evening, he say, yes, he is a citizen. All the while he need a whole up a black man Jamaica passport to me.
Well, you can call him Mr. Golding, though.
No, the British citizen.
All right, Carl, we're going.
Until, all right. Yeah, God, Tyrone.
Yeah, go and go. I can't Tyrone. I'm talking nice Tyrone. Go and go feed the dog. The dog's so hungry.
No, man, hungry, man. I think. Yeah, I want a nice dog.
The dog want to talk to.
All right, Carl. Grant.
Yes,
hello, Grant.
Yes, hello.
Good evening.
Yes, Grant. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Mr. Ricardo, Mr. Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Grant.
Am I good?
Yes.
Yes, man. Good.
Okay. I heard a discussion with Golden, Stephen Golden, his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's a brilliant guy, and I like to hear him speak about the history, African and all these things. But I don't know how you let him get away by telling you Jamaica is not an independent country. How you let him get away with that?
No, but you understood the context of his explanation. He explained what he meant.
He said we are not yet because we're still under the British colony or whatever.
There are
people
who make that argument.
We're not truly independent because how can you say you're truly independent and you still have vestiges of the past still hanging on to? That's in essence what he's saying.
Remember, the Constitution vests the executive power.
It's not what he think or what he said. The British don't have any say in the policies that we make in Jamaica.
My brother, if you read the Constitution, it says the executive power is vested. Well, it says in Her Majesty, now her successor, the King. That language is pretty strong. Vest the executive power in a foreign person who we don't have no say over, no control over. We don't. Tomorrow, if God forbid he drops dead, William, we don't have no say. William become king, and if after William, it's going to be George, and after George, it's going to be George's son. That's.
But we are dealing with that in the what you're dealing with the.
But that stall, that not gonna win no.
That stall?
It's stall, it's not gonna win. Parliament that dissolve tomorrow.
It's stall because the PNP, Mark Golden, they might dictate their position what they want.
It's still stall.
But it's still stall. It's not
gonna win. Stall.
They might dictate their position, and him not willing to include the democratic process in it.
No, but it doesn't take away from the point, though, that Mr. Golden is raising with us.
So Gravish is asking me which of the Commonwealth countries are independent. Pakistan, Trinidad, Kenya, Guyana.
Barbados.
You want me to Barbados. You want me to continue, Gravish? Anyway,
Ricardo,
yes, sir.
The fact is we make all our policies, and it's only an independent country can do these things.
But another fact is it is also shameful. It is also shameful that on the proclamation dissolving our parliament, you know what the last words are? God save the king. That is also shameful. It is also shameful that when our parliamentarians gather, as Stephen rightly said, we need a symbol to represent a foreign monarch. That is shameful. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the parliament can't even sit without it, just think about how ridiculous that is.
Yes, Ricardo.
That in other words, without something that represents a foreigner, our sovereign parliament cannot sit to make laws. Yeah. That is shameful.
But there are discussions going on to deal with that.
I say it shouldn't be right, yes or no. We should have changed that long time. Trinidad changed it from what, 1970 something? We should have changed it a long time ago. And I agree with you. It is equally shameful that the People's National Party has, in this instance, stood in the way. But we have to accept that it is not a proper state of affairs.
Me feel independent, so I
understand what you mean. But I'm still saying that we are maintaining a vestige that we should have long done away with.
Yes, I agree.
And for some people, that makes it colors the independence. Put it that way.
So all right. No, you said something different.
It colors the art. I think that's what Stephen was saying. That's what he meant. It colors the independence. It diminishes the independence.
I'm saying I don't agree with him in that.
All right. Here.
And the PNP manifesto, the PNP so-called manifesto. Let me tell you this. It's a desperation manifesto. You can't see the desperation in the manifesto. And the reason why them come up with that, everything them try to belittle the Prime Minister name and all them things there to see that them can bring down the Prime Minister to get power. All of those things don't work. And they are trying this and they are trying that and see if something will work. You understand? And the only intention them have is to get their hands on the treasure. That's what the PNP want, you know. They want to get their hand on the treasure. As they do over and over and over again. You remember the zinc them in after Gilbert? You remember that?
Maybe just ban.
Hello?
Maybe just ban.
Yeah, the zinc scandal you're talking about?
Yes, the thing that we get from abroad to the people them who lose them roof and them house in Gilbert. You know the history of that?
Yes.
Okay. The St. Thomas Highway, you know, this wasn't the first time. Andrew is that the first Prime Minister who decided to make that highway? Did you know that?
Yes.
It was from in the 80s with Mike Henry and Edward Seaga. I want to get Mike Henry to give the history about St. Thomas Highway and the money that granted for that highway. And after the PNP trick the people and get in a power. All Mike Henry asking them what them do with the money. No answer.
All right.
I want to try to get that from. I want to try to get those things from.
All right.
Good night.
You remember this? You didn't. I'm sure, Ricardo, you read about that zinc scandal.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Tanel Panton says, your bias, Ricardo, is disappointing. Your statement about the PNP standing in the way is misleading. They requested a full separation, not a partial one. How then are they standing in the way? Simple, Tanel. Because if the People's National Party had moved ahead, we would have removed the king as head of state. Now, you are talking about a separate matter, which is the final appellate court. This caller a while ago, Grant was his name, was speaking about the monarch. And that's what I was responding to. That is what the People's National Party has stood in the way of. Yeah? A release from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, it says the High Command of the JCF is reporting that a series of police operations led to the seizure of a shipment of illegal firearms and ammunition and the fatal shooting of a man in Darliston, Westmoreland this afternoon. The operations were launched after the police became aware of a plot to import weapons and ammunition into the country through the ports. This afternoon, officers intercepted one of the individuals believed to be involved in the trade. During the interception, the man opened fire on the police. The fire was returned and he was injured. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police say they recovered 1 rifle, 2 pistols, and more than 1,100 rounds of assorted ammunition. They say additional items, including electronic devices and documents, were seized during follow-up operations, and that those will be forensically examined. The police say the identity of the deceased is being withheld, pending notification of his family. Investigators are pursuing strong leads locally and overseas as part of ongoing inquiries. The High Command is warning armed criminals that confronting the police with gunfire will be met with what they are describing as decisive force, and is urging those challenged by the police to surrender peacefully. Police say further updates will be provided as the investigation progresses. All right. That's a positive. 1,100 rounds of ammunition off the streets. That's a positive.
Man, that's good news.
That's all the time we have. We're out of time. Dana Davey was our producer. Andrew Glenn Anderson, the man behind the controls, our pilot. My colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business. All our callers, sponsors, contributors, and the YouTubers. Always I beat up them phone screen. Always I beat up them keyboard. Start calling the keyboard warriors. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
My name is Sanjay Lewis. Wishing for you a wonderful evening.
Good evening.
Escape to Idlewild